election. It's just the people who run that town. It's people with the deep pockets. It's with money. You don't. I mean, the Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, those types are fewer and further between. It's just the guys who run it are the lobbyists. The lobbyists are just the intermediaries.
Right.
It's corporations. It's special interests. And this is true for Democrats. This just isn't a Republican problem. But it is what it is. And I think the more and more this continues to go on, you're going to have the Matt Gaetz problem is not going to go away. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not going to be just the Republicans. Next time it's going to be Democrats. You're not going to have, like, Nancy Pelosi is a once-in-a-lifetime politician. She is somebody who you may not like. She's probably a horrible human being in person. She has a very strange political beliefs. But to her credit, she kept her caucus in line. She played hardball when she needed to. She made the deals. She kept them voting in unison. She created a culture of shame when he broke ranks with the Democrats. And she really came down hard on you if you didn't go along with the entirety of the caucus. That is what you need. McCarthy he was never able to do that. As the Republican Party is constituted in the House of Representatives right now, it's just not going to work with a outsized group, a group that continues to expand its ranks in the House Freedom Caucus, and that doesn't even include like a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Matt Gaetz. They're not even in that, and it continues to grow and grow and grow. And when you have kind of a divided Republican Party, this is the anticipated outcome. But I will say this. I think the Democrats will have their turn at this. I don't think an AOC, Ellen Omar, I don't think any of these guys on the left, the far left, they're looking at this. They got to see this as how they can divide and conquer and get what they want as well. So you're going to see this all across the board.
Well, and I'd imagine Washington, D.C., like official Washington's worst nightmare would be sort of a coalition of the AOCs and the Matt Gaetz, to where those numbers start to grow across the aisle. It's probably unlikely, but maybe on particular issues they could do something like that. That might be coming down the road.
Well, I don't know about issues, but I think on tactics, I think as a disrupting mechanism, right? Like,
right.
Well, we're mad at our guys, and you're mad at your guys. Let's join forces for now, and we'll upset them both, which is that's sort of a pathway there. Because you're never going to get them to agree on more government, less government, or, the idea of collectivism versus the individual and all of that. That just, but what you get them to agree on is the status quo sucks. We can be a force to force the status quo to be no more. And then maybe they go and figure out everything from there once they kind of stop the machine in its tracks.
Now, one story I saw this morning that I just got a kick out of is apparently there was a caucus called the Problem Solving Caucus. And it was a bipartisan group. Like, we aren't up here to, win hearts and minds on cable news or on radio. We're here to solve problems. And apparently the Republicans that were on that caucus are very mad at their fellow Democrats on that caucus voting out Kevin McCarthy. And so I think this is now defunct, this problem-solving caucus. Are they that dumb? Like, are they that surprised by, the Democrats are going to take the opportunity, guys, as much as you might play nice behind the scenes.
And I mean, they had to. What's the point of a two-party system? Just take the Problem Solvers Caucus and make it a three-party system and have a center moderate party or whatever you want to call it. I mean, at the end of the day, you affiliate with a certain party, then you're probably going to act and go along in line with them. Look, Democrats are playing from the minority, and their idea is just to stop the Republicans. It's a tactical thing they have to do. I don't know why the quote-unquote Problem Solvers Caucus. I mean, it's always been kind of a joke anyway. It's been around for a long time, by the way. Like the Tuesday group, they call it, or whatever. And I think certain groups like that kind of exist just as a mainstream media play, and then to show that they're up above the fray, and it's almost like a vanity sort of thing.
Yeah, it's, I guess, effective in a purple district during election day, too. Look at how much I'm working with others. But before I let you go, the federal judge is supposed to rule today, right, on these redistricting congressional maps here in Alabama?
Well, I suspect they've already ruled. They just will release the decision. So they will say this will be your map for 2024. And, and then right around the corner, right after that, we'll have candidate qualifying, and then we're off to the races. You look at the two maps, the biggest distinctions right around the Mobile area and parts of Houston County and Henry and Dale County. But everything else is roughly the same. It's going to be one of those three maps coming out of today or tomorrow. I would be surprised any later than Friday.
Well, and we'll see. Do you think this vote bears any on McCarthy? I know the whole entire Alabama delegation, Republicans, stuck together and stuck behind McCarthy. Do you think this affects them in any sort of primaries?
No, I don't. And
Right.
look, I've been saying this all morning. Historically speaking, you look at Alabama. Alabama's never really had a bomb-throwing kind of outside-the-box guy, except the exception maybe Mo Brooks, but he was in Congress. But historically, we in Alabama don't elect that guy. We don't elect, it's always been sort of socially conservative guys who are just believers in government, but the idea is to get government to invest in the state or whatever, spend on the state, and whatever you want to call it. That's been the thing. Maybe Barry Moore could be something of that, but I do think that the caucus pretty much went along with what was expected.
Well, I know we're going to be talking about once these maps are released. We'll finally see, okay, these are the final lines. Maybe there's one other appeal to the Supreme Court, but it'll probably be the final lines. And you're right, they're going to start lining up. And is there any...
They got to go fast, too, because
Right.
a congressional run, Joey, I would expect this. The moment these maps are announced, if not that afternoon, then the next day, you'll start seeing candidates get in and announce their run for 2024, because you got to start raising money now. You got to make your intentions known. You got to try to crowd out the field. This is all part of the game. It's very early going. This is very, very important.
Well, and I believe last week we were talking about Singleton doing an exploratory committee. Are there any other rumblings right now, Democrat or Republican, of people feeling things out behind the scenes?
There was an AL.com John Sharp story talking about like a Wanda Lingavan and then not running in her own district, but running in the newly constituted second congressional district. And I'm not buying that at all. I do think it'll be a crowded field, both Democrat and Republican in the new district. The seventh, I don't know. Bobby Singleton doing that, he knows it's a long shot. Maybe he's trying to bait some kind of Birmingham candidate, and it's a divide and conquer thing. You take away Terry Sewell's support in Black Belt, you take away Terry Sewell's support in Birmingham, and she becomes vulnerable. But no one's really jumping up and declaring their candidacy beyond that.
Well, Jeff, I always appreciate your time. If folks want to check out what you think about writing about everything you're covering, how can they do so?
Twitter.com/Jeff_Poor. When I say X.com, it just doesn't sound right.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, man, we're on the
Stick
X.
with the Twitter.
It's like, are we on ecstasy right now? Yeah.
We on the X. It sounds like a TV station or something. Come on the X. Yeah.
Well, I always appreciate the time, man, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.
Thanks for having me on.
Jeff Poor there, the Jeff Poor Show, editor-in-chief at 1819 News. And, just wanted to get Jeff's reaction, and sorry for the delay on the live stream, folks, but you can go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube. It should be up and running now.
Running good.
Joey Clark Live on YouTube. We got a second here. Like, real quick reaction, we'll hit a break. Eddie, when you saw all the fallout, like yesterday, y'all are asking me what's going to happen. I'm like, I don't know. And I thought Gates only had like 25 votes. I was not expecting the Democrats as a bloc to do that.
Honestly, I'm glad to see it.
You're happy about it.
I'm very happy about it.
Sky?
I called it.
You did call it.
I called it, man. I told you they're gonna throw this guy out.
I'm so glad they did.
Yeah, it's about time. It's some action.
I'm not celebrating the chaos or anything like that as much as I'm celebrating the fact that we, the people, put them up there to do something, not to get along and just go along to get along. Yeah. And I'm glad some Republicans stood up and said, you know what? You promised this. You didn't keep your word. It's time for you to go.
What was it, eight Republicans?
Yeah. Only needed 5.
Right.
8 of them said. And that's great because we're holding people accountable to their word.
I love the mainstream media's
the freak out.
It's thrown our democracy into uncertainty.
Right.
There's chaos. What are we ever
I
gonna
feel more
do?
comfortable than ever.
Oh man,
Do we really need a speaker?
that's worth it. The price right there.
And by the way, the nerd we were talking about yesterday, and I still will stand by that. I'm pretty sure this is a very high IQ individual.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't go that far.
No, just because you're high IQ doesn't mean you have good judgment.
Just
Yeah, I
'cause you work
mean,
for the government doesn't mean
that
you're high
IQ's got to be bounded by your values and the games you choose to play.
Okay.
But I say that from watching long interviews with the guy. He's definitely a smart cookie, but he was one of the biggest backers of McCarthy. Of course, we're talking about Patrick McHenry. I believe he's from North Carolina. And Cadillac, or is that how it's said?
Kakalaki.
Kakalaki. Okay, Cadillac.
It's okay. Yankee.
close enough.
Sorry, Yankee.
But anyway, he is now the interim speaker.
Yeah.
And well, have you
He's
ever
making moves?
you ever seen a nerd get really mad?
Yeah.
You have?
Every day.
Oh well, I walked right into that one.
Shoots, he scores.
Walked right into that one.
Every day.
But I feel like I would be able to do to hit a gavel on a block.
I would feel like you'd have some, yeah.
Right. Well,
coordination.
this was last night. This is, if you're watching the live stream, folks, this is Patrick McHenry and his little bow tie there. Isn't it so
very
cute?
stylish.
He's just graduated kindergarten.
What it looks like.
And
Already going bald.
Actually, the bow tie kind of plays.
Yeah, for nerds.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
All right.
So, but this is him last night kind of just calling everything off. They're apparently going to take a week off to figure this out.
Wait a minute.
But watch this and
Vacation?
look at how...
Fire the boss and get a week off? Hell yeah, where do I sign up?
Only in American government, Eddie.
But look how mad this nerd gets here.
Chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Whoa, baby.
Like,
If he were hammering a nail, that nail just shot off. It did not go
Come
into
up here
anything except
not to
a
bang that
coworker.
gavel.
yeah,
man.
let's watch
Please.
that bang right one more
Well,
time.
it's soft wristed there.
Of the chair.
You really
Chair
told him.
declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
McHenry smash.
Wow.
Oh,
Gotta
the
patch your
tempers.
wallop, man.
I would rather him have one of those toy kids' hammers that goes whack.
Yeah, the tempers that are flying right now are just over the top.
You know how he got the gig? When McCarthy was first became speaker, he had to submit a list of replacements.
Oh,
This guy was at the top of his list.
well, no wonder
Right.
he was so upset that the
He
boss
got
got
taken for his
fired.
pal.
Oh no, this guy was very close to Kevin McCarthy, and I think and they're people up there. At the end of the day, folks, you got to understand these are not automatons. They're not,
humanizing. No. These are employees, and they work for you.
but
and
they're
I.
not cold-blooded reptilians. You conspiracy theorists.
Really? Are you sure?
And
Joe?
some of them might be.
Okay. All right.
But no, a reason I say this is not to consider, be nice to them. No. You need to understand the folks you don't like. Empathize in a strategic way. And so what you're seeing here often is like we talk about ideas and policy issues and all this stuff. I kind of like the more Shakespearean idea that it's,
Flair for the dramatics, Joey.
no, not the flair for the, you are so dumb. Would you learn a book?
Flair
Learn
for-
a book,
Hey,
you
here we
big,
go.
fat
He has
dummy.
no flair for dramatics. What are we doing now?
It's like I'm working with Shamu, but he can't even do tricks.
What do you want to go BMI, big boy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Not yet. Give me another week.
Because I'm back on my
I
regimen.
know. I remember now.
Yeah, I'm
Give
back
me
on my.
another
I'm doing all right here. But no, I say this in that it's not like the policy issues and the abstract arguments. It comes down to people's psychology. It comes down to people's emotions. Like, and who are your friends? Who are your enemies? I think a lot of that was going on. It's funny to watch folks say, "Oh, this was more personality based. How dare Matt Gaetz?" I'm like, it's always personality based. And so it's
Bit of a
fascinating
show all the way around.
to see these folks who usually are pretty disciplined and they're coached
Yeah.
to let the mask down and just be real people for a moment. You saw it when Mike Rogers lunged at Matt Gaetz
I
that
was
first
hoping we'd
week.
have some of that action last night. I was really wanting some of
Well,
that.
that was because it went into the wee hours of the night. He might have had a libation or two.
I
I don't
understand.
know that for a
I
fact.
understand.
But how about this? Let's hit a break. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. What is it? Parker Snider.
Parker Snider's going to call, right?
Parker Snider of 1819 News will be calling in just a moment.
He may not know whether he's coming or going. But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
During Prattville Carpet's fall sale, you can get Mohawk waterproof flooring, regularly priced at $11 per foot installed, right now priced at $7 per foot installed. That's huge fall savings. And get interest-free financing for up to 12 months with approved credit. Call 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house.
How you doing, Joey?
Doing all right. Sky Mosley in the house.
Reverend.
And on the phone, we have Parker Snider of 1819 News. Parker, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Joey. How about you?
I'm doing all right. See, I love the chaos. I like any time Washington has to improvise. And people that are so, I'm pretty narcissistic, but people are so self-important that they can't stand it. I think it was Meghan McCain who said, I didn't know we elected Matt Gaetz president of the Congress. It's like, oh, shut up, Meghan. Just shut your mouth when you're talking to me. I'm asking everybody today, Parker, what's your take on all this craziness happening in D.C. with McCarthy being outed?
Well, I mean, it seems like, at least to me, it's not that surprising. He had a historically hard time getting into that position. And just from what I, listened to from the people who were voting against him, he made some, unwise decisions in, just belittling some people that he knew were not really for him in the first place. And you just got to be smart if you're in charge like that, and if you're in charge by such a small majority. I think the Democrats are very happy right now. I think I think there's still value in what Gaetz was doing and what he, if you're a conservative, but it does make it a little bit messier, and maybe a messy government, messy Congress is what we want. I don't know if the Republicans are going to be able to spin this well for the Republicans in 2024 for at least the congressional races, but I think I don't know. I've seen that same picture of Schumer just is haunting me. That I think everyone's seen on Twitter and stuff, just giggling and having his best life right there.
Yeah, anytime one of those people genuinely laughs who's been up there in the Senate for decades, it gives me the creeps. It's like watching the devil himself laugh, and you're like, oh no, something's coming here. Why is he so happy? But I want to shift gears here. 1819 News did a report on a story that actually goes back a few years. Eddie and Sky, I don't know if y'all remember when there was all this fraud within the Montgomery public school system.
Oh, you mean it's not there no more?
No,
Not lately.
Okay.
They put in reforms until they're shown otherwise. They centralized everything. You remember?
Oh yeah.
Like each administrator, each school had their own credit cards and accounts and stuff. They finally centralized all that.
A strip club that really took advantage of that, if I remember.
But here's the deal: there are a lot of folks upset at the moment that happened a few years back, Parker, and they're like, "We got to hold them accountable. Hold them accountable." Well, finally, we're getting some accountability. This is. Justice is slow, I guess, but the headline is former Montgomery Public Schools CFO receives 6-year sentence for role in $291,000 theft scheme.
Yep.
Like, why does this even happen in the first place?
Well, I think that's a loaded question. I think anytime you have bureaucrats, which is what chief financial officer at a school system is, you're going to have. And you don't have much oversight. Like there's going to be a real temptation by many people to steal. And yeah, she stole $291,000 along with her co-conspirator. And yeah, I mean she's been sentenced to 6 years now, or a five-year sentence in community corrections. So in behind bars, and then a year of parole. That's a long time. Her co-conspirators got 5 years as well. So she'll be serving, and this is just the question of someone who's gotten caught. Who knows how much more similar occurrences are happening in Montgomery and other school systems around the state.
Yeah, and I mean, some of it was, I'm remembering, I'm trying to remember the name off the top of my head. Is it Chauncey? There was one guy. Like some of these folks who got in trouble, they bought like championship rings for their players.
Right.
Like some of it was kind of on the line where
okay.
Is that really a misuse? Technically it is, okay. But there's one guy, I think his name was Chauncey. He went to the strip club. He went to the liquor store.
Right.
He was living his best life.
Really blew it out.
I mean, teaching's a rough gig. I get it, man.
But this happened, again, folks, from 2017 through 2019. That's when the $291,000 was stolen by this woman. Her name escapes me, Brenda Palmer. And
and she has to pay all that money back,
right?
Even after she goes to prison. It's not just like an exchange. It's she still owes them money, which is going to be rough.
I kind of got a feeling though. It's like when an F-16 pilot drops a plane, they put you on the payment plan of like $1 a month for the rest of your life. In reality, after doing that kind of time, it's going to be hard for her to come up with a job that's going to allow her to.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. And with redistricting, are you hearing anything? What do you expect to hear from the court today?
Yeah, so a real quick update is they've given us 3 plans, the special master. The state, of course, hates one that the people who are the plaintiffs love. So they're playing favorites already, but the court had a hearing yesterday, and they said that they're going to make a decision which of the 3 they're going to choose. All 3 of them split up Mobile County and have Jerry Carl going against Barry Moore, so districts 1 and 2 battling out in the same, or the representatives for district 1 and 2 battling out in the same district in district 1. So really the difference between the 3 is not that big of a deal, except for that one has a little bit of Mobile, the city, more than the other one. And of course, that one is the one that the prosecutors favor, and my guess is that that's the one that they're going to get, because they've been winning all of this, and maybe the court decides to take one that the state likes because the state has lost almost completely. But this is going to come out shortly, was the quote from the judges, excuse me. And so it could be today, it could be right while we're talking, or it could be Friday or next week.
Well, I'm just ready for the daggum lines to be drawn. This process took a lot longer than one would have hoped, but final little thing we're going to do here today. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but there was this press conference there. Dolphins, number one, the offense is amazing. Like,
killing it.
I've got a few players, Dolphins players on my fantasy team, and I'm yet still losing because of Joe Burrow. I need to drop him.
Joey,
Joe's pretty cool.
Me too. That is exactly why I'm losing because he's getting like 5 points a game, and it's terrible.
Yeah, I keep benching Baker Mayfield, even though I'm a Bucs fan, and he's doing better than Burrow, which I never would have expected.
I wouldn't have thought that either.
But
terrible.
Tua is doing great this year, and there was this moment at the press conference that didn't go viral. It didn't get a lot of play, but I thought it was fantastic. So let's present it to the folks here, and then we'll react maybe why this didn't go viral and what Tua has to say.
Yeah, I think the best thing about being a believer of Jesus Christ, like to me, is that good Lord up above doesn't care whether you win a game, whether you lose a game. And for me, it's been a little tough having to play on Sundays, having to understand that, not able to go to church. Really, a lot of it is having to watch church online after games and things like that. But allowing me this platform, is, to me, is the best thing in the world, to be able to profess my faith, something that I firmly believe in, something that's been foundationally instilled in me at a young age. And, when I'm out there, like, I even pray before I go out to series and whatnot. Like, I'm always praying, like I'm on the sideline, looks like I'm talking to myself, speaking in tongues. Like, some people think, what, this guy knows how to speak in tongues? I mean, I grew up in a non-denominational Christian church my entire life. So yeah, like that, I mean, it does a lot. And so having to remember scripture always keeps me encouraged in continuing to press forward, especially in times like this.
Well, and I just wanted to present that because you don't often hear that from like a top professional athlete or anybody with prominence with the platform he talked about. I mean, what's your reaction to that, Parker?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's encouraging to see people, be open about their faith. I think when we're talking about reasons it didn't go viral, I mean, Tim Tebow was pretty well known for having similar sentiments. But I think one thing that he said that is kind of the quiet part out loud is that he's not, no NFL players really are able to go to church at all. And that's not something that the NFL really wants to highlight. And they don't want to highlight the fact that, if you're watching that Toy Story game on Sunday, you're not at church on Sunday. And so that is probably my guess as to why, the NFL probably wasn't pushing this quote. I think otherwise they'd be pushing the fact that, Tua is a Christian, because I think in some ways, that might bring back an audience that has fallen away from the NFL in the past years. But, they also are pretty woke, so they might not be a big fan of that as well.
Plus they're going after Swifties. They're going after Swiftie fans.
They should.
No, Joey, they're trying to bring him into the fold.
No. They need to kick them out. This is a man's space. Like, men need their own space. Women can have their own space, too. And we'll do things together. But I don't want any, like
Sometimes
this.
in the NFL, someone needs a safe space. And they need to go ahead and implement that.
I just don't want to hear like Troy Aikman or Joe Buck going, well, it looked like he had a blank space, and that's for you right there. I don't need any of that in my life. Parker, I literally do not know what denomination you are, but have you heard of the speaking in tongues thing? That did catch my attention.
That caught me, but yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm a Southern Baptist, so there's not a whole lot of speaking in tongues in Southern Baptist churches, but it sounds like he's coming from a charismatic church. And, Highlands, Church of the Highlands, which is everywhere, they'd be aligned with him in that and having a more of a continuationist view that they're still speaking in tongues. Now, it's interesting because, speaking in tongues is in the Bible, but it's pretty clear that you're supposed to have someone there to interpret what you're saying. And it sounds like if he's speaking in tongues by himself on the field, that's just not really what it's about. But it's an interesting thing to talk about, especially right now in our day and age.
Though it just hit me because when I played in high school at Catholic, I wasn't much of a trash talker. Like, we got pretty good game prep, so the only thing I would do is we would interpret hand signals from the coaches on the sideline or the quarterback on the field, and I would just look at I was playing cornerback. I'd look at the receiver and go, "You're running a fly route." No. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. But it just hit me like some of the best trash talk might be like that guy's not talking trash. He's just praying to God in many languages.
Speaking in tongues, man. It's intimidating.
That
kind of confuses the offense a little bit.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Parker. If folks want to check out what you're doing, how can they do so?
Yeah, they go ahead and visit 1819news.com, and we'll have all the stories that you need to know in the state of Alabama.
Well, appreciate it, sir, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Joey.
What are y'all going to do when you get a quarterback that's into snake handling? That kind of church. What are you going to do with one of those guys? When you see him on the sideline, he's holding a couple. Seen lots of videos. You ain't going to get me close to one because I get bit. I know how that happens.
I mean, that reminds me, though, of the Jake the Snake Roberts story about Macho Man. Like, Macho Man came back to the locker room for the wrestling match. All right, brother, we got to get something straight here. Before we go in there, I got to see the snake bite you. No, don't be doing any tricks or any sleight of hand here. I got to see it. He's been fixed, right? No, he's been fixed. Like, he's not gonna. He's like, yeah. No, I gotta see him. I gotta see him bite you, brother. And Jake kind of hits the snake on the head, lets the snake bite his leg.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, stay right there. I'm gonna watch you, brother. I want to see if you're all right. And yeah, I think we got snake handlers out there. Some of that it's great to watch, but it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Can't do it, man.
Like these folks who are like the snake YouTube stuff, like dealing with cobras. That takes a special certain type of person.
Yeah,
right
it doesn't. I ain't got it, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Fine with that.
This part of the program for you at this break brought to you by River Region Contracting, and they're at River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and his team, well, they can help you with that roof of yours because they are the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region, and they've helped out so many of our listeners, so many of our friends. They've helped you out.
They just helped me out recently. You know, I bought that place, that Airbnb we're working on, and so of course needed the roof inspected because I wasn't smart enough to get things inspected on the front end. So they came out, they gave me a report. I got a few repairs to do, but the nice thing, that report, you know how much they cost me to drive all the way out to Slap Out and look at this roof? They charged me absolutely $0.00, Joey. Absolutely free.
The inspection was free?
The inspection was free, but not only that, here, Eddie, here's a list of the suggested repairs that you make. Boom, absolutely free as well.
That's incredible.
Right.
So, folks, if you're looking for free inspections, they also do free estimates. They're going to give you tips like Eddie just described.
They sure did.
There, whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof, Todd Clark and his team there at River Region Contracting have your back. Call them today, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them there at River Region Contracting, the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region, that Joey and Eddie and Sky Mosley from News and Views in the afternoon sent you. More news and views after this. Hopefully come back to Bill. We hadn't talked to him in a while.
I know.
And others at 272-9228.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
What an incredible string of storm-free dry days. We need some rain, but frankly, the prospects are not good. More sunshine today and mostly sunny tomorrow. Still dry. Upper 80s today and tomorrow. Low 60s for a low tonight. Friday, a good bit of sunshine. A cold front is on the way, so maybe a few spotty showers on Friday evening, Friday night. The chances are very small. And then breezy, cooler Saturday behind it. Coolest air of the season. Mid-70s on Saturday. Upper 40s Saturday and Sunday night. And low 70s for a high Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586 368, Equal Housing Lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Time out. It's time to call Carroll's Carpet Flooring America and freshen up for game day.
Make your home the preferred destination for game day Saturdays. They have top-of-the-line hardwood, carpet, laminate, tile, and luxury vinyl. They have everything you need. They also have interest-free financing. Don't forget, the holidays are right around the corner. You can go online and use the room visualizer, or go to the showroom and let them show you how your new flooring will look. carrollscarpetmontgomery.com, or visit their Montgomery or Prattville showrooms.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Bill. Oh, man.
Bill bailed.
Yeah, Bill bailed on us.
Yeah, I went to one of those speaking in tongue churches one time.
You did?
Yeah, sure did.
How'd that go?
Not too good.
Yeah.
No, first of all, it kept going on and on. It's like, 1 hour. Never been, did it, some chick, you know how it is. And
I was going to ask you.
Yeah,
No, that's where I.
yeah. 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm looking around like somebody leave, man. So I don't feel so bad. But they were all doing the knockout stuff too.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call the denomination. I'm sure one of the listeners knows.
I'm sure y'all have seen.
Pentecostal?
It's freaking me out.
I'm sure y'all have seen. You've seen the one where it's like the very sweet young black man in a very charismatic church, and he's yelling into the microphone. Y'all, you know what I'm talking about? What I'm getting at? Where he goes, "I'm not gay no more, folks. I love men." Only men, and you're seeing this guy. I'm like, I don't know about that, brother. What? I don't know about that, brother.
Huh? What church you going to, bro?
No, I'm not making it up. I just saw it reposted the other day. I'm wondering if I can just type it in. But yeah,
whatever, Joey.
Here it is. Here it is. Let me pull this up, and we'll present it on the live stream, folks. This is a classic. This is like an internet meme, absolute classic. So let's get this on the stream itself. And here we go.
Turn around and tell those people, I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't
So
like
good for that
men
guy.
no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman.
How would you like to be his first girlfriend?
Yeah.
He's good to go, man.
Well, women love a project. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
good for the guy, being delivered. It's like, good for you, man. But, woo.
Good luck with that.
Wow.
Yeah, what a
haven't
strange
seen that in a
world.
long time.
Yeah. So you knew that
True
one.
classic, yeah.
Yeah, the internet.
I don't look at videos like that. I don't know what kind of stuff y'all watch.
Oh, what are you kidding me?
I watch
Can I look at your Chive account library history?
I peeked over there.
I've never heard of such a thing. That's a great
I've
charity
never heard of
organization.
Chive. You
It's
don't
a charity
see
organization. They sell T-shirts.
TikTok?
That's another charity organization.
Chinese government share.
This part of the program brought to you by the CCP. Eddie, go ahead.
No, comrade.
You guys are giving them a bad name.
Actually, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. Well, they can help you men, especially if you're feeling run down and tired all the live long day. Maybe you're haunted by past memories of that younger self where you could go all day, all night without going kaput.
Eesh.
Maybe you're just not thinking straight. You're not sleeping well.
Right.
And you're never in the mood. Low libido, as they call it. These could all be symptoms, especially all together, of low testosterone, low T. So for only $99 in about an hour, you can know your testosterone numbers. And if you do, in fact, have low T, they have treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health. Treatments across the board, by the way. There's some that are more light touch, where it's just enhancing what your body's natural production.
Right.
There's some that's, direct testosterone replacement shot. They have many options depending on where you are in life and how you want to go about it. But I swear, folks, after these treatments, you're going to feel a change. You're going to feel a massive difference. Most men experience higher energy in general, better gains in the gym.
Brother.
That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, and you might even notice an increased sex drive.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, buddy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. So call them up today. Make an appointment, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can always go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. And it's not just low T. Maybe it's a metabolism issue. Maybe you got ED or PE. All these, performance issues, so to speak. They can help you with any problem unique to you as a man. So be sure to tell Montgomery Men's Health that you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. I'm going to just go ahead and hit the break. Thanks for hanging out here, Sky.
Oh, it's
Appreciate
my
it.
pleasure. Always great to
Appreciate
be
you
here.
classing it up a little bit there, buddy.
And it's like we're going to try to do a thing. We haven't confirmed it yet, but we'll all three be at the fair?
Not confirmed.
Not confirmed yet, but we're working
I
on
got
it.
to do a
Okay.
little schedule.
When we know the date and time, we'll
Are you
let
still
you
doing
folks
that
know.
whole bearded lady thing? Is that what we're doing with you? You pay $5 to see the bearded lady?
I'm kind of flat.
We're going to need you to shave some of that, but keep this.
No, there's no hair here, but I'm kind of flat.
Oh, ain't no grass growing on that playground?
It's going to be a fun time at the fair.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. U.S. job openings unexpectedly rose in August. The Labor Department says employers posted 9.6 million job openings in August. That's up from 8.9 million in July. Economists had expected 8.9 million vacancies in August. Picketing underway at Kaiser Permanente hospitals. Some 75,000 workers on strike in 5 states and the District of Columbia. Tropical storm Philippe is drenching the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. It's now spinning away from the Northeast Caribbean on a path that will take it towards Bermuda and later New England and Atlantic Canada. Philippe expected to approach Bermuda late Thursday or Friday. On Wall Street, the Dow is now down 14 points, but the Nasdaq is up 95. This is SRN News.
This is an urgent warning. America is heading for another major financial disaster at an alarming rate. We could see stock prices fall as much as 50%, but this time the crash could be more violent and come faster than you ever imagined. We are Advantage Gold, America's most trusted precious metals company, and we are here to sound the alarm that winter is coming for investors. And now is the time to take actions that may help protect and secure your portfolio with physical precious metals. Want to help protect your hard-earned money before it's too late? Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 and request our free gold and silver survival kit today. Mention that you heard us on the radio and learn how you could get up to $1,000 in free silver coins. The number is 800-900-8000. Call now to get your free survival kit and see if you qualify for $1,000 in free silver today.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
What an incredible string of storm-free dry days. We need some rain, but frankly, the prospects are not good. More sunshine today and mostly sunny tomorrow. Still dry. Upper 80s today and tomorrow. Low 60s for a low tonight. Friday, a good bit of sunshine. A cold front is on the way, so maybe a few spotty showers on Friday evening, Friday night. The chances are very small. And then breezy, cooler Saturday behind it. Coolest area of the season. Mid-70s on Saturday. Upper 40s Saturday and Sunday night. And low 70s for a high Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At ASE Credit Union, financing your next adventure is easier than ever with rates as low as 5.25%. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting Newsroom, here's today's top stories. Montgomery City Council District 4 has a new representative. Fernita Riley was elected in Tuesday's runoff, defeating Kalia Bell by approximately 350 votes. The results will be certified next Tuesday. A Montgomery teenager has been charged with murder in relation to a shooting on September 10th that left a 16-year-old boy dead. The shooting happened in the 100 block of Gazebo East Drive. Another person was also shot, but their injuries were not life-threatening. A 3-judge panel is preparing to approve new congressional districts for Alabama. The federal court heard input Tuesday on the 3 plans proposed by a court-appointed special master, preparation in effect to select a plan for use in the 2024 congressional elections. From the Blue Water Broadcasting Newsroom, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Kia of Auburn invites you to come by and experience the all-new electric vehicle, the 2023 Kia KV6. It is gorgeous and as practical as it is cool. Just think of the thousands of dollars you'll save in gas and time you'll save by not going in for oil changes, plus the added benefit to our environment. Kia of Auburn, a proud supporter of Auburn University Athletics. Kia of Auburn, where you are always number one. KiaofAuburn.com.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, as promised, we have Tho Bishop, I believe, joining us on the live stream. He's number one, first and foremost, he's a Florida man, content director for the Mises Institute there in Auburn, Alabama. But Tho, you correct me if I'm wrong, you play a big role in the part of this country that is represented by Matt Gaetz, right?
Well, he is actually right to the west of my county.
Okay.
I'm over in Neil Dunn is our representative, but I know Matt pretty well. He's got one of the best staffs in D.C., which is very difficult to find, and very proud to be a Panhandle, Florida man today after his historic move yesterday.
Yeah, proud indeed, and I feel like I share that sentiment. I've been asking everybody on the show today. It's a mixed opinions, but what about it do you find just so compelling? Why do you like this so much?
Well, for one, it's nice to see a outcome of any sort from the political process that is genuinely unexpected. So much of the way that Congress behaves is all predictable, and I think that was what Matt was trying to fight. We saw leading up to this a predictable spending budget process, right, where you have a lot of nice platitudes, talked about fiscal responsibility, promises made about restoring normality to the budgeting process, which hasn't been in existence for over 20 years. And then, sure enough, we get to the end of the time is running out, so they propose something that is different than what was being promised at the beginning of the year. Gaetz puts his line in the sand along with other colleagues. That creates a new crisis, so now we have to kick the can down the road with a 45-day continuing resolution that does no cuts, has no promises, has no significant conservative victories, which is what the Senate always wanted. And again, this is the way that we have come to expect Washington to operate, right? It's a body that operates crisis to crisis, and then you actually have accountability. You actually have consequences for this action. And again, first time this process has ever been used to remove a speaker, the shortest speaker tenureship since 1876. And I know right now, like, although the pushback, right, was the uncertainty. Oh, well, they don't have a plan. They don't have a plan for what comes next. Well, the reality is that in Washington, anybody who was put forward as an alternative to Kevin McCarthy would immediately be disqualified from being an alternative to Kevin McCarthy. So it's interesting watching, people that claim to be political experts or pundits and the like act completely dumbfounded by just the obviousness here. And I think this goes to just how intellectually captured, to put it perhaps in the nicest way possible, that so much of conservative media out there really is, by just deference to the status quo.
Yeah, and I normally do not watch Fox News, but I was gifted a YouTube TV so I could watch NFL Sunday Ticket by my brother. Thanks, bro. And so I turned on Fox just to see, and it's like a completely different world, especially when I'm sitting there listening later to Gaetz in a Twitter space with Elon Musk and so many other great folks on Twitter X. Do you think what we saw last night or yesterday, was a function of, in part, this new technology, this new burgeoning kind of movement, politically and otherwise, on new media?
I do think that's a major role, and it's very interesting dealing with people who I'll affectionately, just oversimplify as conservative boomers. It's been very interesting to see how often they are the ones pointing me to something they see on Rumble or some podcast they've listened to. And they are now consuming content outside of the trough of Fox News, and that has, I think, broadened. For one, it's created new expectations for what Republican leadership is supposed to do. It has brought new energy. It has broken a capture over that a media market that had been dominated for the most part by cable news. Then, of course, talk radio that the impact it had, particularly in the 90s, on breaking away from the corporate capture of the narrative, before Fox News was ever an option. That I think played a major role in some of the changes we saw in the 90s, which I think for the most part were positive steps in the right direction. Didn't all, by the time we got to the 2000s, that's kind of things take a leftward turn there. But I think definitely the role of alternative media is a major game changer in terms of how constituents, what the expectations are for the people they send up to Washington.
Well, and to your point, I remember when Rush Limbaugh died, people were doing all sorts of tributes to him. And I saw this old Time magazine cover where it's Rush looking like in his prime with the cigar and the smoke billowing up. But the subtitle had something to do like the threat of electronic populism, the threat of electronic populism to our democracy. I'm like, man, they've been doing this shtick of a threat to our democracy for a long, long time now. I was just a little taken aback to see how long they've been doing this.
Absolutely. And of course, Matt Gaetz is particularly equipped for this era. He is extremely charismatic. I mean, again, regardless of what you think about his policies, you have to admit that he is funnier. He thinks on his feet better than most. But thankfully, he is more intelligent than most in D.C. as well. And I think that is what has made him such a thorn in the side. It's what has made him the most hated man in D.C. because what he represents, he's a mirror to the rest of his colleagues, most of which are simply pale in comparison in terms of their willingness to take unpopular stands. They were going after him yesterday for, oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, he's fundraising off this sort of stuff. Surprise, surprise. People in D.C. have egos and ambitions, and they like to fundraise. Throw out everyone in D.C. who that relates to, and you're left with an empty body. Which hey, there's an argument to be made there. But again, it's just so funny to see. And again, Gaetz did a great rant about this yesterday on the floor. Is that these members of Congress who do not are never seen by their constituents. They don't do town halls. They don't communicate at all with the rank and file, and would much rather do 3 lobbyist dinners a day talking about the moral failings of Matt Gaetz for getting small dollar donations, for standing up against really the uniparty in this regard. Was getting quite comical to watch.
Yeah, and I was about to ask you, anticipating my next question. I noticed, because there was a lot of back and forth yesterday, and I thought Gaetz was masterful just in terms of his rhetoric. And just the pair on that guy, just brass, just big old pair on that guy, it's always good to see courage like that. But the one thing he said that made everybody else in that room kind of squeal and hiss at him was, y'all are bought and paid for. Y'all are beholden to donors and special interests. And similarly, when one of these past Republican debates, Vivek Ramaswamy said something similar, super PAC puppets, and they get so angry about it. Why do you think the Washington, political class gets so upset when that's pointed out about them?
Yeah, I mean, it hits them right in their weak spot. And to be fair, part of it is that the way that the modern Congress operates. Right, it's a constant struggle for fundraising, and fundraising is important because fundraising is how you buy your way onto committees of importance. So let's say you have something that you want to do in Congress, whether it's most are less truly motivated by, say, taking on the very difficult issues like the runaway spending, $33 trillion and quickly approaching $34 trillion. The complete, the inevitable physical insolvency of Washington. But, maybe they're really motivated to, help fisheries here in the Gulf Coast, right? I know that's a big issue with some of our congressmen in my area in the past. If you want to have a say in how that legislation is operated, you have to be a good team player. You have to follow leadership who makes those decisions. You need to have the money to support your allies and the like. And this is the problem right now is the Republican Party as a caucus, as a conference, the incentives are completely screwed up because ultimately the top priority of a Republican leader is to raise money. Kevin McCarthy was very good at that. The money comes from large corporations who are largely trying to erode away the values, the larger push, whether it is, again, reining in spending that can hurt corporations that benefit from the status quo, whether it is fighting these cultural fronts and the like. So your main job is to raise a whole bunch of money from corporations that do not share the values of your constituents, that want to remove the loyalty that you have to your base in favor of these sources of funds. And that creates this unnatural hierarchy where you have people like Kevin McCarthy, who's a lifelong political agent for the most part, right? He was a legislator at a very young age. I learned last night he won the lottery. So that's kind of where his start came from. Good, more power to him. Where someone like him has a hierarchical advantage to a Thomas Massey, who's like an engineer, who's genuinely a genius, who actually builds things. It's a very unnatural order where Kevin McCarthy has more respect, more influence than a Thomas Massey. And of course, the left doesn't have this problem. The left is willing to follow blindly the leader. It's very interesting. The progressives have never caused the same issues they have with their leadership that conservatives have been able to cause in the Republican caucus. But that's because the left's general framework of the world, right? It is a politically arranged order, right? They believe in that your fealty to the party is a sign of your merit. But it's not going to work the other side of things, and hopefully we'll see with the new opportunity that has arisen here, instead of getting next man upism that has been kind of the play card of Republican politics for too long. Trump, obviously breaking that in 2016. Hopefully this is an opportunity to reevaluate the entire system by which they evaluate things, because what's happening right now isn't working.
Well, and I'd love to get your take on, there are a lot of good people who voted to keep McCarthy. The entire Alabama Republican delegation voted to keep McCarthy, including our own Congressman here, Barry Moore. He's freedom caucus. He's been great on so many issues, especially Ukraine. And then one man you just mentioned, who we both respect very much, he is a genius, Thomas Massey, voted to keep McCarthy. Where do you think the difference was here? Why did they stay home with Kevin?
I think that someone like Thomas Massey, he has, because of the compromises that Kevin McCarthy had to make early on, he was placed on the Rules Committee. He has never had more influence into how Washington operates than he did under Speaker McCarthy. There were, so I don't fault members who viewed the way that Congress had been acting so far to date as an improvement upon previous experiences, and therefore feared the unknown, right? Giving on a hand they thought they could deal with in exchange for discarding it and not knowing what's going to come next. I don't fault those people. What I do think is the reality is Kevin McCarthy may have improved upon the low standards of Paul Ryan or John Boehner, but it was still not sufficient to the very real challenges that America has. And so I would rather discard a proven, a certain failure. I know that's the emergency siren the emergency coming in. But all chaos in D.C. right now. But from my opinion, we need big, bold. We need a game changer right now. Kevin McCarthy was never going to be a game changer. I finally came on my end. And so I would rather fold a hand that is not sufficient in exchange for the opportunity for something that might be.
Right. And who do you think ends up with this, or who would you like to be Speaker, but who do you think ends up with it as well?
Now, unfortunately for that optimistic tone I took right there, my assumption is that we will see a sliding back into the predictable. If I had to put money on, right now, the two leading candidates are Steve Scalise, who would be the next man up. Would probably be a slight improvement over Kevin McCarthy. I prefer a guy from Louisiana over a guy from California, generally. Jim Jordan would be my preference of the viable candidates there. I have a hunch, though, that neither man will end up in the role. I could see like Elise Stefanik, who is currently putting her eggs in the Scalise basket, but I could see her being she's a lot more liberal. In fact, on policy votes, she's probably more liberal than Kevin McCarthy. I think she has some better instincts in terms of some of the Machiavellian politics of it all. I'm expecting that we will not get a Jim Jordan type figure in the end of the day, but it will be for the first time in a very long time. I think there's genuine uncertainty about what will rise up, and at the very least, that will allow the process to play out in ways that are better than the guaranteed inadequacies of Kevin McCarthy.
Again, folks, we've been talking to Tho Bishop. He's the content director for the Mises Institute. And follow him on Twitter, @Tho Bishop THO Bishop. And I'm just seeing here, and this would be a fun way to kind of end this conversation, though, on your Twitter bio, Jacksonian. Why do you call yourself a Jacksonian?
Well, I think there's a search right now for, I think, like historical wisdom, right? You have the Roman Empire meme.
Right.
And, the Jacksonian period was a rare example of government actually being reduced, right? The debt was extinguished, the central bank was abolished, and it was also a period of democratic politics. You saw the expansion of the franchise and the like, and I think there's a lot of lessons there that the Jacksonians had to offer that have a lot of relevance, right? You have to educate the population. You need to organize effectively. You need to actually have conviction and courage to govern. You need to have moral arguments as well as intellectual arguments for policy measures. And so the Jacksonian period, I think, is one that we need to revisit. You had a great charismatic rock star like figure in Andrew Jackson as the embodiment of it, but there's a lot of people that played a role in that. And I think ultimately there's a lot of wisdom to be found in the past. We just have to look for it.
Well, here. And if folks want to follow you, I'm assuming Twitter works, but where else, if they want to see what you're up to, like what you're saying, how can they follow you?
Yeah, you can always you find most of my content at Mises.org. That is MISES.org. I've got a podcast, Radio Rothbard, where we just talked about this topic, but that comes out weekly. And if anyone out there would like a free book on the economy, a lot of bad stuff going on there. We have a great book, How to Think About the Economy. You can get that at Mises.org/RothPod free. That's ROTHPOD free. And we'll send out a free book, great for your own education, great if you have kids in high school or college. Economic literacy is a great way of avoiding being debamboozled by all the fake news out there and all the political lies.
Oh, here, and I always love what y'all are doing at the Mises Institute. Y'all are the gold standard there, and always appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joey.
Again, folks, that is Tho Bishop. Always great having him on the program. 272-9228. Eddie, it's I don't know. I'm feeling hopeful. I like surprises, like Tho was saying. I like it whenever there's a requirement of improv for the Washington, D.C. class. And we really do see, like, where people's priorities are.
Yeah.
Now, here's the way I've described it. Well, we can get to it in a second. But, I wrote that piece about our national addiction.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not necessarily like you have to do everything at once. But a great way to help an addict or anybody who's having a big structural problem in life or an institution is you have to reframe the problem.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you're going to get everything you want again all at once, but you have to reframe the problem, say we have to start going in a completely different direction.
Right.
And often, when you look at Alcoholics Anonymous, that's pretty much what they're doing with all the steps. They're helping you reframe how you see yourself in the world. And that's, I think, exactly what Washington needs. Because I can understand the benefit of marginal change and how politics can get done. You have to negotiate. You got to work with folks. There are certain practical realities of this world. But I think the United States is much in need of a new frame because we have a lot of long-term problems here. Am I seeing that correct?
What's that?
On line one?
Yes.
We have Dick Brubaker on the line. Hey, how are you, sir?
Hey, I enjoyed listening to your previous guest, but he kind of screwed me right there at the end.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it sounded like he was big on, freedom and states' rights and, things that we've sort of gotten away from.
Oh, he's huge on that.
Well, I don't think that people like in South Carolina would be real high on Andrew Jackson. And wasn't it Jackson who dispossessed the Cherokees? I mean, the only Indian tribe that really tried to buy into the American system and, that had bought in the idea of private property in their own towns and trying to generate their own economy. And all that was Andrew Jackson, right?
Oh, yeah. He did a lot of awful things.
Yeah, pretty daggum awful. So I was, especially on the Federalist side, when it came to, if you have any idea toward states being able to sort of chart their own course, Andrew Jackson's not your guy.
Well, I think the main thrust, because I've read in depth where Tho's coming from, they very much hail him for the closing of the National Bank, the Bank of the United States. They like how he took the fight against sort of those interests at that time. How he did so with, kind of zeal. But I put Jackson up there kind of with a Teddy Roosevelt, where there's...
Well, yeah, but if you don't have respect for private property, I mean, I mean, I can understand. I don't know. I didn't call you talking about Andrew Jackson. I found that a little surprising. I mean, yes, he closed the bank, and then he dispossessed a whole group of people and put them on a Bataan death march across the Mississippi.
Stole Florida, right, too? Like all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
So, I mean, anyway. But what I would, this thing would get, it is a lot of fun, which at the end of the day is kind of what he was saying. It caused chaos, it caused uncertainty, and that's a good thing. But at the end of the day, what you've got is 216 people voted to get rid of the speaker. 208 of them were Democrats.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and anybody who thinks that somehow or another this is going to result in a conservative victory or somehow things are going to get better, I just don't see it.
Yeah, well,
Now,
I mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know if there's much forethought in that regard. I think Gates was more just saying, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire in this regard. And others, I was surprised, for instance, Nancy Mace joining in. It was a weird tribe that joined together to do this.
But all he didn't need, when divisions are this close, any splinter group can get this kind of result. And, but I do think that causing chaos without having some plan going forward is of questionable value. But it also shows that McCarthy, if I understood what Matt was saying correctly, he was accusing McCarthy of reaching across the aisle and making too many compromises with the Democrats. Am I right?
Yes, and also the agreement they made in that first week with the speaker elections.
Right. Well, one thing about it, if you try to play ball with the Democrat Party, and which he did to keep government, but and look, I'll be honest with you. I've got a son who is an Army Ranger. He's in the 75th Ranger Regiment. He's on active duty. And I don't think you're a sellout because you want soldiers to be paid on time.
Well, I agree there.
Well, I mean, you can't. It all goes together. So, don't think Matt is as great a guy as a lot of people seem to for wanting to shut down the government. I mean, people say, "Oh, it's great. We're not going to pay these people we don't like," but you're also not going to pay soldiers. You're also not going to pay people on the border. I mean, when they stop paying, when the government quits issuing paychecks, it's everybody.
That's
not a great way to run your government.
I agree with you there. I think, though, that as much as folks will, especially those who've been up there in D.C. a while, hate the idea of a shutdown, I think they love the idea of a threat of a shutdown. And I think that explains why we don't have regular order.
We've been kicking this shutdown ball back and forth between Republicans and Democrats for, 15 years now?
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
I mean, at least since the second Carter administration, Bill Clinton administration is when all this got started.
Right.
And so, but at some point, I do think that I'm suspicious, anytime you have 8 Republicans joined with 208 Democrats, I have a hard time believing the ball is going to be moved forward.
Right. And I
hope it does.
Some of what's going on here is, it seems to me, is folks really are just frustrated. It isn't a fully thought through plan. It is more, I am just so tired of seeing this process work out the way it has, so I'm going to blow it up. And I think there's more and more folks who are growing with that wrecking ball politics. My hope is that even if you knock something down, you're going to have a lot of great people who are ready to build new thing.
Yeah, but the people that get knocked down in a budget shutdown are privates in the U.S. Army.
Right.
I mean, congressmen get paid. You realize that, even in a shutdown. Every one of those congressmen will get their checks. The people that won't get their checks are soldiers and Marines and people like that.
'Tis true, and
I mean, I have a hard time getting on board with that. But I will say this: I do give Matt a little more credit than your previous guest does, though. I don't think that he's driven by. I don't think he's just a Twitter whore who's just out there being driven by what's on Twitter X.
Yeah, I don't think he's being driven by it. I think he's using these new mediums very effectively. This is the age for him.
Well, 80% of tweets come from about 4% of Twitter users. And only about 20% of the population has an account, and only about 10% of those are active. So people that are actually active on Twitter are a very small group of people, but social media has changed politics more than anything else in my lifetime because the amount of attention politicians pay to.
Now, I really appreciate the call. Before I let you go, what do you think of this whole redistricting thing and how this all lands?
Well, I think that the Democrats are trying to do with the courts what they couldn't do with elections. They're trying to flip Congress through judicial action. The Biden administration has weaponized government in all sorts of new and interesting ways because it's not just Alabama. You know, there's 7 or 8 other states with very similar pending lawsuits. And if they use the Alabama decision as the precedent, the Democrats are going to pick up 20 new leaning blue districts without doing anything, without anybody casting a vote.
And
that's more than enough to flip Congress.
I'm very worried about it. I guess social justice, bending the arc of history towards justice, I guess means just let the Democrats win. It seems a little absurd to me.
Exactly. And that's what bugs me about this. This doesn't have anything to do with justice. This is Democrats rigging the system. So if all things are equal, they're going to win without trying to win.
Now, you know that I'm on Jeff Poor's show every Wednesday. He's on my show, and
I do know that.
He is pretty much saying, I want Dick Brubaker to run for Congress. I think he would be the guy who'd be great in a new district. What do you think about this idea?
I think once the courts, the plaintiffs have filed an objection to all of the maps the special maps are presented. And I would, if it's at all winnable, I would love to run for it. But until the court actually rules on those objections and chooses a map, it's hard to talk intelligently about it.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And I always try to stay somewhat impartial during election time. But if you got into that race, I like you very much, sir. So would love to see that. But I guess you're right. It depends on where the lines are drawn.
Yeah, let me see what the district looks like. But if I feel like I've got a chance and can do some good for this part of Alabama, why not?
Well, amen. And great hearing your voice. Great hearing from you. Let's do this again sooner rather than later.
I always listen to your show, and I really enjoyed your previous guest. That was really interesting.
Yeah, that was a good dude. Well, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Joey. I appreciate you taking the call.
And folks, Dick Brubaker, former state senator, and potentially going to hop in for the race for Congress. But again, we got to see if the lines are where they're drawn. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by XI Repair, and they're at XI Repair. Jonathan Strange and his team are ready to help you. And, of course, they specialize in smartphone repairs.
Right.
So water damage, like
do it.
you drop it in the toilet or you
In
leave
the
it
lake.
outside overnight, drop it in the lake, the beach, wherever.
Yep.
They can fix that. You, in fact, found one in...
A cow pasture.
It had been there a year, right?
A little, like 18 months, the guy realized it'd been gone that long.
And they were able to fix it.
Like an hour and 10 minutes, they had it ready to go.
That's crazy.
I mean, I brought it in there
Absolutely
laughing.
crazy.
And no problem, we got it.
And, of course, things like crack screens, battery not holding a charge.
Right.
Maybe you got a dirty port so your charger isn't connecting very well. They can also do work on laptop computers, desktop computers, top-end gaming consoles like a PlayStation 5. And, with those big machines, that's a lot of money. Don't you, instead of sending it off in the mail,
Send it off in the mail?
go to a great local shop that can really get the job done. And I think that's where XI Repair really shines. They're not just courteous folks. They're not just attentive and easy to work with. They really are skilled. Nobody else for miles can do a lot what they can do. For instance, a guy drove all the way from Maryland to get his PlayStation 5 worked on. That's what I mean by miles. And they can also do data recovery, so maybe you accidentally deleted something precious on the hard drive or somebody purposely deleted something and you need your attorney to recover that for litigation. They can do that there at XI Repair. So check them out today. You can always call them at 777-1234. That's 777-1234. Or just go to xirepair.com and be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views, after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going. But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your fall market report on real estate in the River Region. From January through September of 2023, close to 3,600 homes have sold and closed in our area through area realtors. Our average sales price is approximately $250,000, which makes us one of the most affordable areas in the state to buy a house. So far this year, sellers that listed with an area realtor were blessed with a sales price that was 98% of the listed price or possibly above listed price. Because we have had a severe shortage of houses on the market, the buyers have had to look a little longer to find a home that satisfied their needs. Even with higher rates, local mortgage lenders have found ways for buyers to buy down rates on their mortgages and making the transition from tenants to home ownership possible. For all the details, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Yes?
Howdy, ma'am. I'm Bill, the electrician.
Oh, hello, Bill. Say, I like your houndstooth hat. Bama fan?
Well, sorta.
Oh, you're also wearing a War Eagle sweatshirt and a Troy jacket.
Yeah, well, I grabbed a hot wire last week. Kinda scrambled my brain.
Electricity is nothing to trifle with. That's why you only want electricians who are safety conscious and code compliant, like the experts at Crosby Electric.
Okay, ma'am, you take this 2x4, and if you notice I ain't saying much, give me a good knock on the head.
What?
All Crosby Electric team members are trained to make safety our #1 priority to avoid dangerous situations.
All ready to go, ma'am. Just have to connect this wire and... Oh!
Bill, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Good as new.
Yeah, sure. Who's your favorite team?
Pistachio?
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Appreciate everybody watching on the live stream as well as everybody out there listening today on the terrestrial airwaves. But if you want to join the live stream, Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
It's Joey Clark Live on YouTube. And of course, if you're more, like wanting to go with Facebook or X, Twitter
too.
X,
yeah,
we're streaming all over the place, folks. So my Facebook page, News Talk's Facebook page, my Twitter X page at the Joey Clark. And let's now go to Eddie. He's been very patient. Eddie, you're on with Joey and Eddie.
Yes, sir. Good to talk to y'all. Enjoying the show.
Thank you.
I don't call in that much, and I probably wouldn't have called today, but after Mr. Brew Baker was on, my understanding of what these young guns was trying to do was he was saying, his son's in the military, and if they'd shut the government down, he wouldn't have gotten paid. But these guys are trying to separate that wherever, the border money is tied in with money going to Ukraine.
Right.
That's what Gates is trying to do, or how you pronounce his last name. He's trying to vote on one thing at a time, break this crap down instead of having it all rolled into one big package.
Yeah, I believe it's 12 different appropriations bills, and the law calls for them to be done by something like June. Now, what's funny is I was talking to my grandfather. He's 87 years old, 30 years in the Air Force, and then a lot more years at Civil Air Patrol. And so he was, especially at Civil Air Patrol, very beholden to these discretionary federal budgets.
Yep.
And he said even back when he was doing it in the 80s, 90s, that they would always be missing deadlines, and they started shifting the fiscal year because they kept missing stuff. But I think this isn't just, we didn't have time, we got too many cooks in the kitchen, we couldn't just get it done on time. I think some of this by the big players was done by design. They act we just couldn't get it done. That way they can throw everything together, and they can hold things that everybody wants to fund, like the troops, hostage to their other project.
You're exactly right, and that's what these guys, sometimes, you got to hit somebody in the head with a 2x4 to get their attention. And maybe that's what he was trying to do,
Yeah.
Instead of, they need to vote. That's why they waste so much money. And that's why these guys the senators bring the money back to Alabama, because they roll all this crap into one big pot. And something that's dear to everybody's heart that they're not going to go against, like making sure the troops are paid.
Mm-hmm.
They put that in with some kind of BS that's going to get somebody's, wallet a lot thicker. And,
right.
And I would have thought Mr. Brubaker would have recognized that, especially if he's thinking about running for a congressional seat. Because how I took what he said, he'd have been right in there with the gang.
Yeah, but also keep in mind there are a lot of great folks who I think were said, you know what, we're doing enough with Kevin, like Thomas Massey, for one, I love very much. I like our own congressman right now, Barry Moore.
Yeah.
On a lot of issues. So I think this wasn't like the Chip Roy, for instance. Like Chip Roy, I think, looked at the camera, and I'll repeat it, folks, here on the airwaves. He said, "You want to call me a rhino?" He's from Texas. "You want to call me a rhino? Well, kiss my ass." And it was like, so there are a lot of folks who I don't question their conservative nature. It's just there's something's got to give here. Something.
Yeah,
has to
and you got to start somewhere.
Right.
You got to start somewhere. So this is a start, maybe.
Well, I appreciate the call.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Well, I appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good day.
You too, man.
272-9228. And the way I described it on Jeff Porsche this morning is, I did that piece on our national addiction.
Yep.
And I think our national addictions, we think centralized big political power can solve all problems. I think there are a lot of conservatives who understand that's nonsense. But still, people have fallen into this habit of, we got to get federal funding. This is the way the system works. We've all kind of been made dependent to a system that a lot of us wish we weren't, but what are we going to do about it?
In the middle of it.
So I think that's our national addiction, but take a particular addiction just to move this analogy along. Take alcoholism. If you know somebody in your life, maybe you yourself have gone through it, maybe you know somebody else or, heard stories where you realize, okay, this person is an alcoholic. So can I use you as an example? You're not one because you drink Busch Light. Good luck being an alcoholic doing that. But maybe you could. But it's like, just for the sake of argument, say 10 beers blacks Eddie out, doesn't it? But Eddie's getting blackout drunk on 10 beers. He's maxing out the credit cards when he gets blacked out. He's starting fights all over town, all over the river region.
Yep.
And it's getting blowback to our reputation back at the house. All his friends are like, "Eddie, what are you doing? You're crazy." So we do an intervention.
Okay.
And you know what? You go, "Guys, you're right. I'm not going to deny anymore. I do have a problem, and I need to, give it up. I can't solve this. I need help." And then a week goes by, and you go, "Okay, I've got the plan. Instead of 10 beers,
okay,
I'm going to drink 8 a night."
Oh, yeah, I'm slowly kind of weaning myself off of it.
Right, and I think there are a lot of your folks who are like...
And you're going to fall for this?
No, you can't do that. Now, there might be the argument that you can't go cold turkey if we're talking about the country. I agree, but, okay, this is what I mean by reframe. We can at least start a tapering program, but let's at least change the frame of the conversation to where we're going in the direction where you're getting sober.
Right.
And I think what's happening here with this Matt Gaetz outburst is that it's like that friend that you are trying to help get sober. Get them on the straight and narrow. And you think they're doing all right. They make all these promises to you.
All the time, dude.
And then they mess up again.
Yep.
And they mess up again.
Yep.
And you forgive them a third time and a fourth time and a fifth time. And y'all have heard the story. Sometimes the best thing to do, especially if you're a family member, is you cut that person off. You say, I'm not going to be able to deal with you. And I think that's sort of the outburst we've been seeing here, that people are just frustrated.
Sure.
And I admit fully, I don't think this was a fully thought through thing in regards to who'd be the next speaker, how would it work for the entire Republican Party.
No.
I think this was a straight up, I'm so tired of y'all getting blackout drunks, maxing out the credit card and wanting to fund all sorts of fights all over the world.
Desperate moves.
Right, so we'll see where it goes. But at least it's interesting. I do like it when Washington politics isn't just done with a script. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Bath Innovations of Alabama. And there at Bath Innovations of Alabama, Brad McDowell and his team, and Brad's the founder, still the owner there, they can help you. They started Bath Innovations in 1994, and built it up by their bootstraps, but with hard work, perseverance, motivation, they've been keeping customers happy for almost 30 years, folks. And they're a local company. They employ local people, they serve local people, they shop here locally, and their goal is to serve every household here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. I like that ambition. I really do. It's a great vision.
Man.
And it might seem, but they're getting close, actually.
Yeah, they're
But
working their way through it.
here's the deal. They have so much to offer, from aging in place solutions to the new ABS acrylic shower systems. And especially with that ABS material, you can do the laser etching, so
Right.
it looks like grout, but it's not grout. You don't ever have to clean it.
Grout to clean. That's so nice.
For instance, they've got so much. Maybe you want a new shower head. Maybe you want a new faucet for the sink. Maybe you just want to update a little thing here or there. They've got all of that at Bath Innovations, but we can't describe everything they have to offer. There's so much here on the radio. So go to bathinnovations.com. Start to mix and match. Yeah, bathinnovations.com. And it could be, again, you're doing a full remodel, or you just want to get a new accessory or device there. They can help you. So once you go to bathinnovations.com, then stop by 2331 Eastern Boulevard, work with Brad and the team there at Bath Innovations of Alabama, and be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. We're getting a lot of calls rolling
There we
in,
are.
so I got to hit this break. We'll be right back, folks.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
At Humana, we believe better care begins with listening. So that's just what we do. We listen to what our members want and work hard to bring you support to help you feel your best. Our Medicare Advantage plans are made to fit a variety of budget and health needs. You'll get personalized help as you explore your options and benefits that go beyond what you might expect. Benefits like $0 premium options or all-in-one plan options. Plans that include medical and prescription coverage, as well as routine dental, vision, and hearing. When it comes to the benefits and support you need, you spoke, we listened. And our Medicare Advantage plans show it. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO PPO PFFS organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of two, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health.
Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and
wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
What an incredible string of storm-free dry days. We need some rain, but frankly, the prospects are not good. More sunshine today and mostly sunny tomorrow. Still dry. Upper 80s today and tomorrow. Low 60s for a low tonight. Friday, a good bit of sunshine. A cold front is on the way, so maybe a few spotty showers on Friday evening, Friday night. The chances are very small. And then breezy, cooler Saturday behind it. Coolest air of the season. Mid-70s on Saturday. Upper 40s Saturday and Sunday night. And low 70s for a high Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's very quickly go to the phones here, and let's go to Mike. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Joey. This is Mike. How you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, so the previous caller had an issue with a point that Dick Brubaker made. Can you explain what that issue was that he had?
He seemed to think Brubaker didn't have a grasp on why we constantly are ending up with the threat of the shutdown. To me, I was more hearing Brubaker say that just even playing, once you got to that point, you've got to fund things like the troops. Let's not even play this game. I think kind of talking past one another, so to speak.
Okay, because I didn't know if his comment was more related to the troops are going to get paid anyway, because they always fix that in there so that when the CR, everything finally, a budget gets approved, they usually end up getting paid anyway. But something that Dick Brubaker hit on that I just want to expound on.
Sure.
The troops during a CR or without the CR go without pay. But they have to continue working.
Oh, yeah.
And reality is there's a lot of people in the military still today that, live paycheck by paycheck. Now, sometimes it's of their own doing, and sometimes it's not. And, if you go a month without pay and you miss a mortgage payment, a car payment, not every mortgage company or bank is going to work with you. So, yeah, they'll get paid anyway. That doesn't always help. It sets them really behind. So,
but Mike, I think the frustration with that is that can be easily fixed, but they dangle this. They tease us with this. This could be fixed tomorrow, and it should be fixed. It shouldn't have nothing to do with it.
Right.
It should be a set in stone no matter what. If you're in the military, come hell or high water, you're going to get paid. The fact that they use this as a tool now shows what little respect they have for military and you and me and everybody else.
That's exactly right. I agree with that 100%. But, they dangle it, but it has happened before.
Right. Oh, yeah, you're right.
And it affects good, hardworking people. And, these people that do something like this, those 8 people that stood against McCarthy, they need to be voted out next time. I don't care what their convictions are. Even if we agree with them 90% of the time, they need to go. We need a replacement, put people in there that will get the job done. That's what they get paid to do.
Well, I appreciate the call, Mike. I guess my point of view is whether they'd done this or not, the job's not really getting done that well. That's the frustration.
Right.
So yes, it's very frustrating. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Appreciate the call, buddy.
Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hey, I was following a news story, and this is totally off topic, but I was following a news story last week about the senator that pulled the fire alarm to stop a vote.
Representative Jamal Bowman, yeah.
Representative Jamal Bowman, a former high school principal.
Right.
Correct?
I think,
That's
yes.
what I
yeah,
did
that's
hear.
about
I
right.
didn't know if that was true, but I did hear that. Yeah.
So if he was a teacher in a public school, he has extensive training on which one is a door bar and which one is a fire alarm.
Certainly.
He more than likely has probably had students to pull fire alarms and should really know the difference.
Yep.
I was really interested. I listened to a piece on NPR because it's the only station I could get when I was over in Tennessee. There was also an incident that came from that of AOC running around having a panic attack because fire alarms cause her to have PTSD now. And I was not going to let that rest. I mean, they kind of covered over the story. It's kind of gone in the litter box and got some sand kicked on it. And I just figured I'd stoke the coals on that and keep people talking about it, because that's pretty interesting if somebody has extra training on how fire doors and fire alarms work.
Yeah.
We should really hold the precedent for for somebody to disrupt an official proceeding. He should really be held to the same standard as all the January 6th tourists.
Well, I completely agree, but it's kind of like the cocaine in the White House. I just have a feeling we're never going to really get to the bottom of it. And I have to say, from what you said about AOC, I can't stand her progressive politics. I just vehemently disagree. I think it's a huge red flag. But I must say, her sort of Machiavellian genius, it's kind of a turn on. I'm like, man, she's good at what she does. I'm a weird guy. I admit I'm an odd duck, but I appreciate it, Chris. I really do appreciate the call, man.
God, I love you guys. Have a good one.
You too. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Of course, Kim Williams and her team can help you, whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance. And, we were talking off air, Eddie, that mortgage nationwide, the average rate on a mortgage is now 8%.
About 8%, yep. Yep.
And here's the deal. Don't be just looking at those national headlines or the national average when you're thinking about your own home, your own life, your own economy.
Here's another reason for that, Joey. When real estate is good and interest rates are down, the news is always behind it.
Right.
Always behind it. And you cannot live your life according to what the news says. Honest to God, 8% mortgage is a lot better than 100% interest rate on a rent.
Or a 25 or 29 or 30%
Thank you.
APR on a credit
card. Pay that stuff off.
Right. If you've got a bunch of debt hanging over your head, what you need to listen to are, the folks there at Alabama Home Mortgage. That's who you need to listen to. Sit down with Kim or Madeline, and they'll get to know you, get to know your goals in buying a home or refinancing that home. If you're a veteran and you've not taken advantage of these benefits you earn through your service, they are VA Home Loan certified, so they know the latest and can make that a smooth process there. So check them out today. You can always call Alabama Home Mortgage at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies.
There is, Joey.
Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. We got to hit a quick break here, and we'll be right back. Doug, Babs, Duke, hold your positions. Try to get you as quick as we can.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Some politicians announcing they will jump into the process to succeed Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker. Among them, Majority Leader Steve Scalise and Representative Jim Jordan. A prosecutor accused FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried of stealing at least $10 billion from his customers as opening statements began in a federal court trial in New York City. Prosecutor Nathan Ream said the 31-year-old California man defrauded thousands of investors and customers in his businesses by siphoning off their money for his own uses. Bankman-Fried has pleaded not guilty. On Wall Street, stocks remain mixed now. The Dow is down 42 points, but the Nasdaq up 101. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
What an incredible string of storm-free dry days. We need some rain, but frankly, the prospects are not good. More sunshine today and mostly sunny tomorrow. Still dry. Upper 80s today and tomorrow. Low 60s for a low tonight. Friday, a good bit of sunshine. A cold front is on the way, so maybe a few spotty showers on Friday evening, Friday night. The chances are very small. And then breezy, cooler Saturday behind it. Coolest air of the season. Mid 70s on Saturday. Upper 40s Saturday and Sunday night. And low 70s for a high Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. The weather's always changing. Hot as blazes 1 minute, raining cats and dogs the next. What doesn't change is the dependability of Kubota's L-Series compact tractors to handle it all. Kubota and Capital Tractor in Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
Alabama's congressional delegates stuck with Congressman Kevin McCarthy during the vote to vacate the chair of the Speaker of the House on Tuesday. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz filed a resolution that required a vote on whether McCarthy should stay as Speaker of the House or not. Democrat Congresswoman Terry Sewell voted against McCarthy, as did all the other Democrats. 11 other Republicans joined Gaetz in voting against McCarthy, thus forcing him out. This is the first time in 118 years that a House Speaker has been removed in the middle of a congressional session. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that it is estimated that 37 million children around the world call an orphanage home? The reasons are numerous, but the responsibility to care for vulnerable children is certain. God calls His people to care for vulnerable children in His name, and that's where our friends at Lifeline Children's Services come in. For more than 40 years, Lifeline has been helping Christians meet the needs of these precious children through adoption, foster care, global orphan care, and a host of other ways. If your family or church would like to know more about how you can answer God's call to care for vulnerable children in Jesus' name, head over to lifelinechild.org.
A Florence man is facing assault charges for attacking his mother with a hammer and then setting the apartment on fire. 39-year-old Malcolm Allen barricaded himself into the apartment when police arrived to the domestic violence call. Smoke started to emerge from inside the apartment and firefighters were called in to put out the blaze. Allen is being held without bond. The Alabama Department of Public Health is starting up the distribution of oral rabies vaccines. This means there may be packets of the vaccine covered in fish meal found in your backyard or in wooded areas. Alabama is one of 16 states where the program is implemented to reduce the number of rabies cases in raccoons. The packets are dropped from helicopters into designated vaccination areas. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
It's the 70th Alabama National Fair, October 6th through the 15th. Enjoy the rides, circus, shows, and the food.
On Saturday the 7th, join us for the finals of the K-Pop Stars Contest, sponsored by Korean American Association of Montgomery.
And on Sunday, it's HMMA Day with Genuine in concert at 7 p.m. See you at the fair October 6th through the 15th.
The concert is free with fair admission.
It's the best 10 days of fall. The Alabama National Fair.
Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know?
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest.
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
And he has a website at retirewithernest.com.
Hey, you're on top of it today, man.
I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting.
Yes. I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man.
Oh, my.
So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Let's go to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Doing quite well. Crazy news cycle, getting a lot of great calls in today, but you're about to say something? Okay. Eddie had that look on his face about he's about to jump in or something, but let's talk sound. Let's talk what options options people might have when it comes to the audio in their world.
Well, I think one of the easiest ways of doing audio today is clearly been the Sonos brand. And with Sonos, they have 2 or 3 different sound bars that you can choose from. The Arc is their flagship model. It's about 48 inches wide, but it has Atmos built into it. Does an incredible job. They have 2 different subwoofers that you can use. The larger subwoofer, you can actually have 2 of them incorporated into your system. They have 3 different speakers that can be rears, so they start at about $199 a piece and go up to about $450 a piece. A multitude of ways of mounting them. They come in black, they come in white, and basically everything is wireless with the exception of the sound bar. The sound bar wires to your television. Everything else just plugs into electricity.
Oh, nice.
So kind of like that commercial, the So Easy a Caveman Can Do It.
You don't have to worry about hiding wires.
That's right. Except for the little power cord that's plugged into the speaker.
That's great.
So, but it sounds great. It also has the ability that you can program your TV or your cable remote so that it can actually do the volume, and it will turn the system on and off, and then you can use your smartphone to stream all the different music sources.
Cool.
So, really cool stuff. No wires, easy to install, whether you do it or whether you allow us to do it, and it sounds great.
Yeah, and it's beautiful product. Just whoever was the industrial design artist did great work. These sleek, great looking products too. So it's going to look good in the living room.
Yeah, and I think the people that started Sonos were ex-Apple people.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Sleek look right there. And, of course, you can check this out all online, folks, at thinkcohens.com. I'm looking at the Sonos product right now. And, of course, all the electronics and appliances and seating options, even outdoor grilling, all the options they have there at Cohen's, thinkcohens.com. Or you can always call them at 277-8890. You're still there at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery?
We are still here, 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturday. And, like I always try to tell everybody, you just come by and talk and let us help you make the right choice, because there's no high-pressure salespeople at Cohen's. We just want to sell it once and have you happy.
Well, there you go. Well, I always appreciate your time, Michael, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for calling. Take care.
See you, bud.
Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. We'll be right back, folks.
Do you have a cell phone or tablet that isn't charging, dying fast, or maybe the screen is damaged? Don't get suckered into buying a new one. XI Repair can fix your current device same day and in under 30 minutes. Their certified technicians fix and recover data from thousands of cell phones, computers, tablets, game consoles, and drones 7 days a week. Give them a call today at 334-777-1234 or visit them online at xirepair.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, we're getting plenty of people commenting on the live stream throughout the day today.
Yeah, everybody's a comedian.
And Romex Angler asked, do you think Coach Tubstan was the inspiration for Gates to stand up? That kind of action is usually infectious. I mean, it might have helped.
That idea.
It might have helped. I think the whole Gates-McCarthy dynamic goes a ways back, though. But yeah, seeing Tuberville do that, make that stand, I'm sure it didn't hurt Gates saying, I could probably pull this off.
Well, something that we've all said is, even though we might be conservatives in the Republican Party, we're disappointed with our members. Well, this is one of the reasons we were disappointed. They just keep kicking the can down the road. I'm sure everybody agrees with me, but I'm finally glad someone stood up and said, hey, our people that are putting us in here do not want us to do. They want us to make a stand. And I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he did. We've got to start somewhere. And if it means cleaning up our own party, then so be it.
And Eric the Dog says, how about they pass a law that makes it where if the military ain't paid, those, you potty mouth, Eric, those politicians don't get paid either. I agree. I think some of these have been presented.
However, the guys that will let you vote on that, they won't come up with that kind of idea, Joey.
And, I'm sorry this has become a pet project of mine, but that's actually one of the... Will it actually get done? Probably not. But you have a lot of people up there in D.C., especially on the Republican side of the aisle, who are tired of this game. I believe Senator Brett co-sponsored legislation to essentially say, no more shutdown.
I'm glad with that, yeah.
And it essentially protects all the vital stuff they use as leverage to get all the bad stuff.
That's all they're doing. It's used simply as leverage.
Right. So I think there's a way to go about these things that could solve the problem. But again, I think this is a problem that when a big problem won't go away and it persists for a long time, you got to start to wonder who benefits from this.
Immigration, perhaps?
We got a lot of those types of problems. It's become a theme of the show. We manage problems to death. We never solve them.
Right. There's no money in the solving, Joey.
Right. So let's, look who it is. It's Duke. Hello, Duke.
Good afternoon, Duke.
Hey, Uncle Joey. Uncle Joey.
You're freaking me out using that voice, man.
Uncle Joey, won't you take me to the zoo weekend, Uncle Joey? Me and Stephanie, Uncle Joey. Please, pretty, please.
Take you where?
To the zoo.
Yeah, sure, we can go to the zoo. What's your favorite animal?
You're the best. Yeah, you're the best, Uncle Joey. You're the best.
I'm sorry, Duke. I've already seen pictures of this baby of Lucy Carol Clark, and you ain't that cute.
That voice is not going to match up.
None of us talking right now are that cute. All right?
You're always the best when you're doing stuff for me, boy.
Yeah, buddy.
Party Republic or something else for old Gates, oh boy, I tell you. What y'all gonna do with these cats, man?
Cleaning the house slowly but surely.
What I don't like what this boy playing is now, he wants to take away the safety net. You know, they talked about making these women have these babies, whether they're raped and all the above, they got to have these babies. But they want to take away the food stamp now. That's what they're playing. They take away all that stuff like that. So you can't have it both ways, Mr. Gates. Nah, Joey.
He's going to take away all food stamps?
That's what the plan is, take away the safety nets for these poor kids and all these babies out here that they're forcing these women to have.
Yeah, I don't think that's
They
the
already
game
talked about it. I heard them talking about it.
When did you hear this? When did you hear this?
Actually, they talked about it last 20, 30 years. They've been talking about it more now, but they talked about it.
But I agree with the point. It's not a success if you've got millions and millions of people.
Go to work.
Yeah, it's not a success to have millions and millions of people on food stamps and Medicaid and assistance. And the Democrats brag about it. Look how much we're helping people.
I'm talking about the babies that these people are supposed to have. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Stick with that. So that's his plan. That's part of his plan. Now, he wants somebody to bow down and be a Trumpster and be a cult member to, be part of their plan, whatever the hell their plans are. I don't know what the hell the plans are, but that's good for old McCarthy. I don't like him anyway because you're too weak. He's too much of a Trumpster for me. Stop.
Wow, if you really think he's too much of a Trumpster, you're really going to be in for a surprise with Tim
All the
Jordan.
rest of them, they just the worst. But he showed he went running down Trump, licking, all Trump shoes. Don't need no polish job at the house. He licked every one of them.
He's a bootlicker.
I understand weak men like that.
Does Trump do you dream about, do you have fever dreams about Trump at night?
Well, they keep showing him on TV, so I can't.
Well, and actually, speaking of this guy who's of your dreams, Duke, he was asked, does he want to be speaker? Let's listen in together.
They asked him.
Yeah.
He's on the job anyway.
Hold on.
Please follow me, Madam Speaker. All I can say is we'll do whatever's best for the country and for the Republican Party. Would you take a charge?
Yeah, that's not in full stereo.
No.
He didn't say no, but I don't think he wants it either. Come on.
He's not going to turn down a job, especially one that hadn't been offered to him yet.
What happened now?
Well, they're offering. Well, there are rumors that they'll put him as Speaker of the House.
Right, Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Speaker of the House doesn't have to be a sitting member of Congress. It could be anybody they want.
Could be you or me.
Yeah, it could be us.
Boy, that'd be.
I'm trying to picture Trump being in that spot, though. He wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it, though. I don't think
if I'm going to do it, I want a bigger gavel.
I would love to see him do it just to see the frustration and.
Nancy Pelosi was here a lot longer than me, but Nancy, my gavel's bigger than yours, and it works.
And she was evicted from her office, by the way. She was evicted from her office by the guy that's replacing Kevin.
Yeah, McHenry.
Yeah, whatever, that nerd.
That nerd. And I'm a nerd too, so I can respect a nerd, but he got really butthurt yesterday. You could see it the way he slammed that gavel down.
He did.
It is always, just to reiterate the point, amazing when Washington has to improvise and unexpected happens. You see folks sort of drop the usual discipline mask. You see the real emotions come out, and it's pretty amazing.
Leave it up to the Republicans, y'all. I love it, though. Kind of remind me of the Bama fans a little bit, when they're losing, they want to fire people and everything else, Kind of like the politicians, the Republican politicians.
Well, they fired enough people that they ended up with Saban, so it's kind of working for them.
Mm-hmm. Instead of, what's that guy we got of that name? What's his name?
Hey, don't be knocking the Freeze. Don't be knocking the Hugh Freeze. He's fixing things right now.
Yeah, I see. He's fixing them. I don't want to start on football today, but I just stick my head in the window hollering at Uncle Joey today.
Uncle Joey.
Uncle Joey. I want my popsicle, lollipop. Uncle Joey.
No, just seeing that.
You like that, don't you, Joey? You like that, don't you? You like an uncle. You like that word, uncle, don't you?
I suppose it really is the best news I've heard in years. It's a great day, great week to be alive. A lot to live for.
Well, the family's growing, baby.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Hey, Ed. When you hook up with that girl weekend, she gonna call him Dad.
No.
Really?
Hey,
Dad.
I don't often threaten this, but I will jump through this phone and smack you right in the face.
You don't like it when a girl calls you daddy?
You want a woman to call you daddy?
You don't like it when a girl calls you daddy?
No, I don't like y'all bringing it up in public. I will smack both of you with the same hand. You better watch out.
That means he does like that, Duke, and he's a little embarrassed about it.
He wants to spank him and everything. Oh, boy. Let me go. Oh, man.
That's just untoward. This is perverted. Which, by the way, did you see the meme, speaking of perverted, when Matt Gaetz was speaking, you notice, you're like, who's that lady in the two of them?
Yeah.
And Elon Omar.
Yes.
And
she's missing her ruby, though.
No, the internet found a still.
Oh,
and
no.
we know
Oh,
now
no.
doing this live stream how you can pause it and
Yeah.
find all sorts of funny faces, where the picture is Gates standing up speaking at the podium, and there's Elon Omar behind him watching, and they freeze it to where it looks like she's staring at his butt.
I saw this, Joey.
And her response to it is like, "Oh, the perverted Republican mind." And on the internet, that's the worst thing you could do. Is like, we're making a joke here, Elon, and now you're getting all upset about it. We live in strange, silly times.
Yeah, the meme I saw, she was talking. It's hard for her not to go up there and squeeze that juicy butt and smack him on his juicy butt. Yeah.
Or remember when AOC was talking about that juicy booty or whatever? People had that superimposed on it. It's just, yeah, it is weird, the days we live in right now, to where we have some of the most
Bizarro
serious
world.
issues facing us.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking geopolitics or the state of the economy, like the world reserve status we have, the amount of people who are barely able to put food on the table because everything costs so damn much.
Yep.
And it's not like, oh, we'll just give more government subsidies. That makes the prices go up even more. And yet, with all this serious stuff going on, we got like Lauren Boebert sticking her hand down some Democrat's pants on a first date while she's getting groped. Got Nancy Mace talking about, oh, honey, we can't do that. Talking at a national prayer breakfast, talking about, doing the dirty, the summoning the beast with two backs with her boyfriend. These folks are out of control.
Who's watching people in the theater with an infrared camera, and when did that become okay, Joey?
Yeah, but I mean, first date.
Nay. Divorcee.
Yeah, but you get a little liquored up at dinner. You're hitting that vape.
Hey, sometimes they're serving liquor at
well,
the theaters
and you
now,
just
too.
got, to your point, you just got divorced.
Hot off the divorce trail.
And I'm a member of Congress. I'm going to live a little bit.
Right.
And a lot of folks assume that that's untoward behavior. That won't help her. But I got a feeling there.
There's a few dudes that went, I get it.
There are a lot of folks who are like, probably a lot of husbands sitting there going, I can't believe my wife dragged me to this stupid Beetlejuice thing. And then they saw that and they're like, I got to come to the theater more often. 272-9228. How about this? We'll be right back, folks. Y'all hold your positions on the phones.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-368, Equal Housing Lender.
Next contestant.
Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the Medicine on Time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on Time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back, folks. Now, I want to do a little something here. There was this great video montage put together. It's making the rounds on Twitter, and it just shows you how there's nothing new under the sun. That's how it's captioned. There's nothing new under the sun. So let's watch this together, Eddie. You ready?
I'm ready.
Important election in the history of our country.
2020. Watch on the live stream. Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Joey Clark Live on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Now let's go to 2016 and Hillary.
There are just 8 days left in what is the most important election of our lifetime.
I truly believe this is the most important election
2012.
Of our lifetime.
He said.
They all say that, right?
Okay, I guess it's just not going to work anymore.
What did you do?
Sometimes I hate machinery.
Really?
Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B. So much for that bit.
Papa B.
How you doing this afternoon, Papa B?
Just enjoying a beautiful day. Went out to Seattle for my niece's wedding.
Was it rainy?
No. It's actually, we went to a place called Lake Chelan. It's in the middle of Washington, so apple country.
Beautiful place.
Absolutely picture postcard perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the trip was brutal, my friend.
Oh?
Oh, yeah. Change over in Chicago. And, whatever hour flight, 6 hours, and then a 3.5 hour drive on top of that. So, dude, I'm too old for this kind of stuff. But anyway, it was a good wedding.
Let me ask you about the Chicago airport real quick, Papa B. I saw a report the other day that the Chicago airport is full of immigrants, or using it to house immigrants. Is that what you found while you were there?
Well, I didn't see anything like that. But
okay.
I don't know, because Chicago Airport's a pretty big place.
That's what I was wondering. But they've been showing pictures and all, but I was wondering if it's disrupting travel.
Didn't disrupt mine, and I didn't see any of that. So, it might have been another part of the airport.
Right.
But like I said, it's a big old
It's
place.
huge.
Did you say something else?
I said it's a huge airport.
Yeah. But anyway, this whole Kevin McCarthy thing, to me, it kind of indicated a few things. Maybe some that I wasn't really aware of. The idea that Kevin McCarthy would make a deal with Nancy Pelosi to stay in power should he be, or, should somebody like Gates or whoever try to vote him out. That kind of was revealing. Did y'all think so too, or?
That's the first I'd heard of that.
Yeah, here's just so folks know what you're talking about exactly, Papa B. This is from a news report. Kevin McCarthy said he spoke to Nancy Pelosi during his marathon speaker campaign at the beginning of this Congress and told her about conservatives' demand. He changed the House rules so a single lawmaker could propose the motion to vacate the chair, which is the first move to oust the speaker. McCarthy said Pelosi told him to give in to conservatives and told him she would always back him up. McCarthy did, and Gates used the move to remove him from the speakership.
Oof.
Woof. Wow.
Right. So he was kind of, hedging his bets a little bit there with Nancy Pelosi. But the second thing is, which didn't surprise me, is that Nancy Pelosi didn't follow through with her part of the deal. Here he was counting on her, and, she double-crossed it. Well, I don't find that surprising at all, but I do find it kind of revealing. Well, it's not revealing. It's a lesson to be learned by the rhinos, as if they don't know it already. If you make any deal with Nancy Pelosi, you can count on nothing. Actually, I mean, you certainly can't count on them to keep their word.
Right.
After all of this time, you just thought that surely Kevin McCarthy and any of the other Republicans up there should know that. I mean, this woman nearly single-handedly has ruined the country. She certainly has, supported policies that has turned her district into a godforsaken war zone that you take your life in your hands going out there,
By design.
So, who in their right mind would think that Nancy Pelosi could be trusted? Nobody. I don't think. So, yeah, there's a couple of lessons to be learned here, I think.
Oh, yeah.
From some people, surely to goodness, we ought to take some lessons from it all.
Well, and to me, it's something I already knew, Papa B, but it really, highlights the point. There's a lot of the Republican base that's going to still vote Republican because they can't stand the Democrats and they feel under siege. But they really loathe Republican leadership.
Yep.
There's a lot of us out there.
Yep.
Well, I mean, and think about it. They make promises that they don't deliver on. This is, this is what we're stuck with. So, Dick Brubaker brings up the point, well, all the bad things that are going to happen to people who don't get paid if, government so-called shuts down, which really, the government's not going to shut down, okay? There is continuity, government, and, things will still happen. There will be bad things that happen to good people, I have no doubt.
Sure.
But sooner or later, you got to try to get somebody's attention. The people that are just letting this, little camel drive keep on going down the road, that they aren't learning a lesson. They're not paying attention. We are under siege in this country, and they don't have any sense of urgency.
Right.
You ever heard of that term?
Yeah.
They have no sense of urgency, and that is the point, I think. Bad as I hate it, I don't want it to happen, and I kind of like, Kevin McCarthy. You got to get to the point where you're doing some things as opposed to just letting it continue to slide. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for letting me spout off today. Enjoying the show.
Appreciate it, Papa B. And let's go to Joey from Prattville. Hey, Joey, it's Joey.
How y'all gentlemen doing today?
All right.
Doing all right. It's been a good show today.
That's good. I want to touch on a couple different points. One, I called in way back when we were during the last election cycle, and I said the best thing that the Republicans could do if they wanted control was to make Trump, or at least offer him the Speaker of the House. Especially if they wanted to get him, especially if they wanted to get him out of the way of the president thing for DeSantis. All right, it was all strategic. I even made the little snide remark about how priceless it would be that Nancy would have to surrender the gavel to Trump.
Right, I remember him.
All right, after ripping up all his speech and everything, it would have been priceless.
That'd have been
At
good.
that time, at that time, you could have gave Trump that seat because that seat actually has some control. Trump is a control freak, okay? And that seat has power. I mean, a lot of things happen from that body of government. And he may have been able to be persuaded. That ship has sailed. That ship sailed. He's not taking that offer anymore. Because of the hatred towards him, the demise, the best thing they can hope for, they would have to have a lock solid case where Trump was going to prison and they were taking every bit of his assets. They might be able to talk him, hey, man, we'll drop all these charges if you don't run, and we'll give you this seat. I can get 40 Democrats on board along with your 50 Republicans. Man, we can make it. I can see all kinds of offers coming in. But he will not go for it. That ship sailed. They lost their chance for that. But I called that shot back during the last election fight. Now, Matt Gaetz and Speaker McCarthy, there's a couple of clips I need y'all to, and I ain't heard a single person mention it. They're talking about how these 8 little Republicans, with all they do is want to tear stuff down and break it apart. The man has some very valid points. You know, with the, look, let's bring up one issue at a time, quit this bundling, blah, blah, blah. But I want you to go back and listen to his interview that he did when he was challenging, pretty much warning McCarthy what was coming. And the number one issue he kept mentioning, or one of the things, maybe not number one, but one of the things he kept mentioning was term limits. McCarthy promised. That's the reason it took the amount of votes it did. One of the things that Matt Gaetz kept putting in was you have to agree to bring a vote on term limits. All right? He finally caved into it. Here's the problem on their side and what scared him. He agreed to it just so he can get the seat, that little greedy thing. Oh, man, we can wash this down. We can wash it down. We'll just keep pushing it down. Matt Gaetz, no different than Tuberville with the abortion thing and military funding, held his feet to the fire. He even said it. All you have to do is bring it to a vote. I know it's not his exact words. I know it's not going to pass, but I want the vote. He just wanted for everybody in that room to have to say no to term limits, because 85-90% of us out here want term limits. Okay,
right.
So if he can make all of them say against it, their chance of re-election just dropped 40%. And he held every one of their feet to the fire on. He told them, all you have to do is bring it to a vote. That's all he had to do. There were 3 different times he said that. He wanted term limits on the floor, and I admire him for holding his feet to the fire, no different than I admire Tuberville for holding his feet to the fire when it came to the paying for abortion. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate you.
You too, Joey. Thank you, buddy.
272-9228. This is part of the program brought to you by New Look Decorating Center. And they're at New Look Decorating. Brett Lanham and the team, they're ready to help you.
They really are, Joey.
Now, that could be with paint supplies or stain supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to just tap into that expertise, that knowledge they have there at New Look Decorating Center. It could be whether you're doing it yourself. They can give you tips and tricks so you do it yourself the right way the first time. Or it could be you're contracting out that job. So maybe you already have hired somebody, and, the first question you need to ask them before you hire them is, do you buy your paint at New Look?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good judge of a contractor. But if you don't know who to hire, they can give you tips there about for particular jobs who might be good for you.
Sure can.
And, of course, they also it's not just paint and stain supplies.
Oh,
if you're into
fabrics?
Yeah, wallpaper and fabrics, go see Katie. Katie is the wallpaper and fabric specialist there at New Look Decorating Center. They're great local folks, 40 years here in the Montgomery market. They are Montgomery there at New Look Decorating Center. And they can match any competitor paint color in that high-quality Benjamin Moore paint. And, you know, you're not just supporting the local Montgomery economy when you buy there. You're also supporting the larger Alabama economy. One of Benjamin Moore's largest plants is right here in Alabama. So check them out today. You can always call Brett and the team at 271-0007. That's 271-0007. But I really encourage you to stop by the showroom. Go see those smiling faces in person at 6237 Atlanta Highway, right here in Montgomery, right where Bell Road dead ends to Atlanta Highway. You'll see it in all its glory. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go to Urbanite. Hey, Urbanite.
What's up, Urbanite?
How's it going?
Good.
Hey, young one who's now an uncle. I really wish that you'd remember in the annals of time the passion of the time in which things occur. And when you joked about the politicians saying this is the best, most important election of our lifetime. If you looked at it, every time they said what they said, they realized Republicans was gaining on them on the Democrat side. And when the Republicans say it, they realize they didn't have a comfortable lead. The way we are right now, the Republican Party does not have a comfortable lead in any category. It's only by 16 or something in the Congress, and it's only about one in the Senate, if it's even one. So it's nothing.
Right, but I'm sorry, not every election could be the most important.
It can to that particular party. It really can.
Well, then that's
to keep the power or to not keep the power. It can be that important.
Yeah, but that seems a little absurd. This idea that we're always at a tipping point. It's like, really?
You don't think we're at a tipping point? You don't feel that we're at a tipping point? Now, granted, you're at a disadvantage over me and Ed because I don't think you've ever felt this country because you came into the world in the 80s, right?
So how long has this tipping point been going on?
Well, what I'm saying is you never felt this country in the sunny, stupid days of not worrying about anything. I mean, you came to the plate being worried. I think you came into the world right at the middle of the AIDS crisis, followed by probably 9/11 or something, and then the war. So those are the things you've known, right?
Sure.
No, I'm serious. You were born in the 80s, right?
88.
Yeah. See, me and Eddie, we only know. Well, we know Jimmy Carter's stupid butt. That's all we know.
Yeah, the end of this clip has Jimmy Carter saying it's the most important election ever.
But when Jimmy Carter said it, he knew that his party was done. That's why Reagan came in play.
Yeah, but I just sometimes my point, and I think the point of the video is that some folks let their own pursuit of power and changing the world go to their own damn heads.
I see.
You're not always going to be the most historic thing ever. There's going to be a lot of elections people forget about.
Well, we got to create.
I would say maybe if they were saying it in 1860, that's a pretty important one. And then you could probably pick out a few others, but to me, it's more a way to rile people up and to make them feel under siege and to make them feel like it's never been like this before.
It's that base, and you have to keep that base energized. And like right now, they're going to get so much rhetoric, and I know, but Republicans can't govern. That's going to be the Democrat talking point for their fundraisers. And then they're going to get the talking points all over the media, unless they come back with something big and bold, which I think we're in the precipice of doing something big and bold, because remember, it's less than 40 days. When they come off their little vacation, it'll be less than 30. It'll be right at 30 some days. To get everything semi in order, because they're not going to want to do anything going to the election cycle. So whatever they do from a financial standpoint is going to have to be fixed. It's going to fix the next year or the Congress after this Congress.
Yeah.
And that's where you cannot deny that's where we are. It's that big. It's that real.
No, but I tend to think that the results of all sorts of elections, say in the last 2-3 decades, by both parties have led us to this point. And often things didn't change that much on a lot of the big issues.
Well, here's the beauty of it. How many of those big issues in which things didn't change really weren't that important after all?
Well, they are important looking back. You have people, like Ron Paul that were standing up early. You get all these folks that get crapped on in the moment, saying, here are the actual long-run issues, and then on stuff that people forget about within a few months. It's the most important thing ever. And I guess you're right. People can feel like it's the most important thing ever in the moment.
Let's start with what I know you know best, because you were a grown, or you were in college by then. The Obama election and the Romney debate, when he joked on Romney about the 80s tall, I want my, because
Foreign
of Russia.
policy back, yeah.
Yeah, but so think about it. We did ignore that situation. Remember, we got into Afghanistan because Clinton ignored that situation. After the Al-Jabani had helped us get the Russians out of Afghanistan, we left them hanging. And we left them festering about how the West doesn't give a crap. And that's because we had the Playboy in office, and the Playboy didn't do anything. We had about, 300 or 400 Marines killed. He didn't do anything. We had the Cole, that little ship that was bombed. We didn't do anything. We had the first World Trade Center hit. He didn't do anything. I mean, so think about it. It's real, and it is. Every election cycle in this last couple of years has been tipping points. They've been legitimate tipping points on who and how this country's going to move.
And yet Washington seems the same. I don't think that makes any sense.
Well, Washington is...
I think it's almost like Washington is selling all sorts of real things, but in the most dramatic way ever. And it gets old.
We know that a lot of people in Washington have sold us down the river. The only thing you can't put your finger on is why they haven't been charged or convicted of their crime. And that is the rub in the corruption and or the lack of transparency. Why, like for instance, we know that Feinstein rode around with a Chinese agent for 20 plus years. Yep. Now, she's a naive old woman. At some point, I'm going to forgive her, because don't you think the intel people should have been on top of that?
They probably were.
Right. Well, that means that the language being used on the quote-unquote spy is probably too hard. That maybe that spy never got a hold of anything meaningful. I mean, he was just a damn chauffeur. It's not like he went to... I'm sure he tooled around her house when nobody was home, but it's not like he got to go inside the Capitol and with her and stuff. I mean, how important was what he did, or how important was the stuff that he was doing? How important was it?
Well, if nothing else, it was a kind of a mental mind game when most Americans found out the hard way that she had a Chinese spy driving around for the last 20 years.
But we asked ourselves, why did they let it go so long? Unless he was feeding information to both sides.
That's kind of my thought. It was a two-sided street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just my point is, not everything can be the most historic, because then if everything is, then nothing is. I would look at...
that's your generation's fault there. I mean, that millennials who think everything's new and never been thought of.
No, I'm not saying everything's new. I'm saying the 1860s were a tipping point. The late 1930s into the 40s and World War II was a tipping point.
Yeah, and Romans had batteries. Now, still, we're found out what they did with the damn batteries, but the Romans had batteries, right?
Well, now we're just going in a different direction. And the pyramids were a power plant. We can study the Younger Dryas period with all the comet strikes that might have taken out, the Society of Atlantis. It was actually a society around the globe. Appreciate the call.
I'm down with Mesopotamia. I ain't mad.
I'm not. I appreciate the call.
See you every night.
I was just like, where does that come from? What is it? The Romans have batteries. What does that have to do with what I just said?
You know where they charge them? At the pyramids. They're a power plant.
Let's try to play this video again and then hit a break. How about that? Oh, my goodness gracious.
Most important election in the history of our country.
2020.
Just
2016.
8 days left in what is the most important election of our lifetime.
I truly believe this is the most important election
2012
of our lifetime.
This election
2012 again
is the most important election in our lifetimes. No matter what generation you come from.
2008 is the most important election in our lifetime.
This is the most important election you've ever voted in your entire life.
My fellow Americans,
2004, John
this is the most important election of our lifetime.
All these choices make this one of the most important elections in our history.
And what
will be, I am convinced,
Dick Cheney had it. He was
one of
on
the
to it.
most important elections we're likely to see for the next 50 years.
1996.
Ralph Reed. Hadn't seen that guy on. Ralph Reed of the Christian Coalition, but 1996.
In my opinion, is going to be the most important election of our lifetimes. Is the single
92.
most important election in our lifetimes.
This is the most important election
Nixon
in history.
in 92.
This is the most important election in this
84.
nation in 50 years.
The most important of all choices will be made by the American people at the polls less than 3 months from tonight.
Asking the American people
76.
to make one of the most important decisions in their lifetime, because I think this election is one of the most vital in the history of America.
This time,
68.
vote like your whole world depended on.
So,
and actually, that final one gives the game away. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but this time, vote like your whole life depended on it. Folks, if you've been voting since 1968, number one, good job on your civic duty. But number two, I'm sure there are plenty of elections you voted in where you go, well, some were more important than others. Like,
dude,
it's just is the point.
You got to bring the hype, Joey. If your band puts out a new album, even though it sucks, you go, hey, the last one was better than this one, but we'll do better next time.
You
No,
own
you
up to
bring
the fact
heat.
that it sucks.
No.
We're running out of time here. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro, Ashley and her team are ready to help you with all sorts of pest control problems you might have. You might as well go ahead and make them your everyday pest control company.
That's the easiest thing to do.
It's set up on a quarterly schedule when you call
Phone
it
call away.
265-9990. But, they can help with things like mosquitoes.
Yep.
They can help with things like termites.
They do.
Maybe you've got a bad, it's spiders are coming back.
Man, they're coming back.
Those Halloween spiders.
Yeah.
And it starts to
It's
get...
not all decorations. It is an occasional real spider.
And it does start to get annoying when you're walking out your door and you're just getting spider strands.
Oh,
on
early in
you.
the morning?
Oh,
You're going to have that happen, man.
And you're like, I just knocked these down yesterday. This is why you got to get it treated.
Yep.
So, again, call it Pest Pro Services. They're bringing some of the best technology, the newest technology to your home to solve those issues. And they have great people with a lot of skill that can solve those problems for you. 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. Hey, and don't forget about the Book of Faces.
That's right. They
Just
got
search
a
Pest Pro
great,
Services.
great Facebook page. You'll learn all kinds of stuff on there. Even got a termite swarm on there.
Really?
Yeah, check it out.
Even a termite
There's a termite swarm on their page.
Incredible.
Yeah, man.
Well, y'all check them out. And be sure to tell Ashley and the team there that Joey and Eddie sent you. More news and views. Final segment coming up. Hopefully we'll have Ray Bowles on the phone.
That's right.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
What an incredible string of storm-free dry days. We need some rain, but frankly, the prospects are not good. More sunshine today and mostly sunny tomorrow. Still dry. Upper 80s today and tomorrow. Low 60s for a low tonight. Friday, a good bit of sunshine. A cold front is on the way, so maybe a few spotty showers on Friday evening, Friday night. The chances are very small. And then breezy, cooler Saturday behind it. Coolest air of the season. Mid-70s on Saturday. Upper 40s Saturday and Sunday night. And low 70s for a high Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Hey, Tammy, let me tell you about how to bring in those big deer.
Randy, I know how to attract the big bucks.
Ha, very funny. At Prattville Farm Center, we've been helping hunters be successful for over 35 years.
We have the products, supplies, and knowledge you need to get those big bucks.
That's right, Tammy. We don't believe in gimmicks or magic seed. We just believe in sound planting practices that work.
So come see us today at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville.
Now that we're done talking about those big bucks, how about those cute does?
Kia of Auburn invites you to come by and experience the all-new electric vehicle, the 2023 Kia KV6. It is gorgeous and as practical as it is cool. Just think of the thousands of dollars you'll save in gas and time you'll save by not going in for oil changes, plus the added benefit to our environment. Kia of Auburn, a proud supporter of Auburn University Athletics. Kia of Auburn, where you are always number one. KiaofAuburn.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know?
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest.
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
And he has a website at retirewithernest.com.
Hey, you're on top of it today, man.
I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting.
Yes. I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man.
Oh, my.
So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
It's the 70th Alabama National Fair, October 6th through the 15th. Enjoy the rides, circus, shows, and the food.
Opening day, get in for $1 when you bring a non-perishable food item for the food bank.
And check the fair's outside stage with nightly entertainment, plus all the free shows daily.
Save time. Skip the line, buy in advance from the fair website or the free fair app in your app store.
17 and under must be accompanied by a parent or guardian, 21 years of age or older.
It's the best 10 days of fall.
Alabama National Fair.
Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing, Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Man, y'all found a way to get under my skin in an odd way. Everything's important.
Okay, it's strange to me.
Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, I am doing great today. We're all still here after that loud buzzing noise at 1:18.
Yeah, somebody hit the button 2 minutes early. What was up with that?
Yeah, I know. I set my alarm so I could cut off my phone, so I didn't want to hear it.
So many people.
And it went off 2 minutes. Yeah, I think they did it on purpose.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right, Ray.
Yeah, I think they did it on purpose. Hey, but you know what? I am sitting here talking to my favorite daughter, Emma Ruth Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
Boatner. Sorry, Boatner. And you want to do the ad today, Emma? No? Okay, she don't want to do the ad today.
That would have been the best ad ever.
I know. You know, she teaches third grade, and we can really listen to all the gripes and headaches of a third grade teacher.
Well, tell her that I'm now sad. I get it.
I know. She just won't talk to you. I don't think she likes you guys.
Yeah, I get it.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't like me either a lot of days.
Yeah. And I can say that she's my favorite daughter because the other two aren't sitting around here.
See, this is to my point. If there's a favorite, there's a less favorite. Come on.
The ones that are not around are the least favorite.
That's it. Whoever's not around me, that's one I don't like at the moment in time. But I tell you what you will love, absolutely be your favorite, is if you call Prattville Carpet at 285-8117, let us come out and give you that free measurement. we'll be your favorite flooring store.
Oh, yes, you will be.
It really is a great service, folks. Again, 285-8117. And so when they come to their house and measure, that way, when you're looking at, okay, how am I going to resurface this thing, they'll know exactly what it's going to cost. So there you go.
And then you're helping out a school teacher at the same time, because anytime Emma wants something, I have to give it to her.
Well, of course you do.
Yeah.
Well,
I have very little power when it comes to these girls.
Yep.
Yeah, but I make a great girl dad. I wouldn't know how to raise a boy. What do you do, buy him a shotgun?
So again, folks, 285-8117, and be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles here. Bonus points if you use the word shotgun.
There you go.
Guys, y'all have a great day.
You too, Ray.
Appreciate you, Ray. And that means we're out of time. Thank you for all the calls today. Good show today, folks. And maybe the best show, the most important show we have ever done. But you know what? I have a feeling tomorrow's show will be the most important, best show we've ever done.
We're going to try.
I'm so full of crap. We'll be right back
tomorrow
with Greg Budell. Happy Hour is next.